for his comments. Now, it's been a very rocky couple of weeks for Twitch, who's been doing their best to
let's get our outpost into solid shape first. I'm sure it won't be long before those bandits come looking for their negotiator.
As you can see, he took a break from scrolling through the hot tubs and pool section to make this tweet, where unfortunately he kept the template in here saying tweet copy.
Our provisions are running low. We need more food.
They don't tolerate on their platform, which is obviously a very bad look. Now, another thing has come out recently. This is a little bit of a clip from apparently the global policy and customer
Our Smiths need more iron
at Twitch. And when you hear what he has to say about the United States, it all starts to make sense why certain views are being allowed and certain views are being punished.
Chop chop, man.
We need to gather more wood, Commander.
Only twice, shame on me. 2016 was not approved. Donald Trump is the most American president we ever had, and he reflects who America really is. America is a racist country. America is a country that will prioritize a white candidate who is
make it good.
With controversy and inadequacy.
Our Smiths need more iron.
Racism and bigotry over a highly qualified woman, over a highly qualified person of color.
Over here. Like I said, it's not too surprising we have the standards that we do with Twitch when someone in a position like this thinks an entire country is racist. But anyways, Asmongold has taken upon himself a few days ago to basically go out there on a quest to expose Twitch's hypocrisy. Now, everyone knows Twitch is very hypocritical when it comes to the application of their rules. It's always been that way. The classic example is comparing the treatment of VTubers who might get a month-long ban if they show a millimeter of their hip versus cam girls who pretty much get away with anything. But there's something even more insidious here and a lot more serious. What Asmongold is talking about with exposing Twitch for their bias moderation, he's speaking to extreme content and things that are just absolutely mind-boggling that Twitch would ever have any patience for the sort of stuff existing on their platform. Now, here is a video from his clip that pretty much sums up everything that you need to know for the context of why Twitch. Let's start off here.
This guy's central committee got banned 3 or 4 days ago because in plain English put out a hit on Destiny.
Holy shit, guys. If you live in Florida, I have an opportunity for you. If you want to earn
let's be quick.
Let me know.
If Twitch
that's insane, by the way. What he just did there. And what's even more insane is that's not even like the first time this week we talked about people putting a bounty on a streamer's head. Like, you know, say what you want about Destiny. I'm certainly not a Destiny fan, but that doesn't warrant or give you the ability to put a monetary bounty on someone's head. That's insane. And as he points out here, look at this.
Banned him. That means that Twitch knows that something happened that was wrong. And they are
3 days. He got a 3-day ban for essentially committing a felony live on their platform. 3 days versus someone like Asmongold, who got a 2-week ban. And then, again, if you want to go further and talk about things like with VTubers where they show too much of their hip, they get a month-long suspension. But this guy gets 3 days. That's insane.
We need to gather more wood, Commander.
Acknowledging that for putting a hit out on another real person on a live stream with a $100,000 incentive, that only gets you a 3-day ban. This is
which is honestly an improvement. Like I was mentioning a few seconds ago, we talked about the whole TV situation where I reported a couple days ago that Asmongold was contacted by the FBI because of unnoticed about how she was putting a bounty on other people's heads.
The outpost has been built. We've expanded our borders.
And Asmongold would not pursue any charges because at the time he mistakenly thought her comments were about him.
We need to gather more wood, Commander.
Mark Kern. And honestly, back then, she got no suspension. So the fact that they even gave anything for this is
Commander, we need to stock up on stones.
insane. This is crazy.
Not yet. Not yet.
We're being attacked.
If you watch any of my content, you don't have a license, I will DMCA you. I don't give you any consent to review my content. I don't.
Yeah, that's not how it works, buddy.
Yes.
It's the same, like, you got a license for that type energy, but his editor would go through and streams here, but yeah, if you want to go with that standard about having a license.
I will follow.
Hey, you got a license for that? Hey, you got a license for that?
you got a license for that?
I went and I said that if
Go
this
ahead.
guy doesn't get banned for 2 weeks, I'm going to bring Dan Saltman all
Try
of
to
the
keep up.
information that's going to come out has not come out. Some of the most damaging information has not come out yet. And so...
And by the way, if you're wondering who he's referring to this Dan right here, who has been on Twitch's ass for a very long time. If you scroll through his account, you'll find tons of examples of crazy stuff going on Twitch.
The outpost has been built. We've expanded our borders.
But yeah, he's saying here that he wants to go out and expose Twitch even more and basically push their buttons to the point where they either have to ban him and look like giant hypocrites, or they just take the L, which either way, Twitch is going to suffer from whatever he plans to do next.
So what would you do if they auto-ban you the moment you bring him on? Well, if I'm trying to hold the platform accountable for allowing people that
This is it.
commit felonies and use the platform as a vehicle to commit felonies, and I get banned for that, honestly, Rip Boza. If this is an extremist website that is meant to house extremist propaganda and crimes, etc., then I think everybody should be aware of that.
You're right. Chance, I don't know what else to say, outsider. It's obvious that there will be bloodshed. I just hope there won't be much.
Technically his alt account on Twitch, and based on everything that's happened the last couple of weeks, a lot of people just kind of sit here and think to themselves, like, why is he even on Twitch anymore? Like, I think he's willing to take the risk, and also, like, Twitch, a lot of people are wondering why they even allow him on the platform anyways, because this channel is not partnered. He doesn't have a sub button.
Be good.
And apparently, according to some people, it costs nearly
Building completed.
$1 million for the platform to host him, and they make no money on it, except for, you know, less direct means, like the traffic he brings to the site, which that might be worth the investment, but overall, I think him moving to another platform would probably make a lot of sense, especially if it was YouTube, for example. It just makes sense with his main and alt channel on there that already get a lot of attention. But anyways, that's the whole deal with Asmongold, his next little...
Lead on.
Let's be quick!
Some of the hypocrisy, and we'll see how that goes in the coming days. But some people weren't too happy about it.
All right.
One of the people was...
Building completed.
For context, he's talking about this streamer who had their stream...
This looks like the campsite Take-On I mentioned.
Because he put Iran...
No sign of a body. The campfire, though. It looks like someone was here recently.
Yeah. The embers haven't gone cold. Maybe they'll be back later. We can deal with those bandits in the meantime. They might know more.
Sure. This, and also for an upcoming adpocalypse that apparently is also his fault.
I just want you to understand, by the way, when Asmongold is making threats like this is the result, okay? When you partner up with cynical fucking assholes who just simply want to see the fucking world burn.
All right, I'm going.
Who are terrified of offending anyone, okay? Even if their purposes
Keep it up. Our presence here closer.
We're being attacked!
Okay?
Lead on.
I'll spare you if he goes in circles for another 30 seconds. But yeah, he's totally right. Yeah, people are getting their stream demonetized. Definitely Asmongold's fault. Full plugs there. It's definitely
Building
directly his
completed.
fault and exactly what he wanted. It's a load of crap, dude. Like, honestly, what happened with that situation has nothing to do with him. And like I said, this opens the Pandora's box. This is a new reality. We're living with a new standard where someone like Asmongold got a 2-week ban for his comments about censorship. That's being used across the platform. And yes, Twitch is scared because they don't have the balls to ban any of the people who are violating their own rules, and they've been doing this for a long time. And honestly, a lot of people are looking at Hassan Piker and wondering, how is this dude still not getting punished for anything he's doing? After all, he's doing a lot of virtue signaling recently that's brought even more attention to some of his own actions, where he's talking about this situation, saying that there's unrestricted anti-Semitism. He's trying to virtue signal about that.
We need to gather more wood, Commander.
Compilations of him saying disparaging things about Jews in the form of a 3-minute long video.
Right here, if you say so.
The outpost has been built. We've expanded our borders.
Who played Houthi terrorist propaganda live on stream with absolutely no regard. On top of that, he's the one who disarmed a Houthi terrorist
What do
it's
we
an
have here?
organization who has an official motto that includes
You
the
know it.
phrase
As you
"Curse
command."
upon the Jews." But hey, at least he loves One Piece. Yeah, this whole thing is ridiculous. And if you're talking about an
Got it.
apocalypse, my brother in Christ, it's you. You're the one who's going to bring an apocalypse to Twitch. We have people from the actual
We need to
government.
gather
We have
more
a
wood, Commander.
Congressman, Richie Torres, coming forward and saying that Twitch and Hassan Piker are amplifying anti-Semitism on the platform, but then this guy comes around and virtue signals about it. And these are the type of clips
We need
people
to
like
gather
Richie
more
Torres
wood,
are talking
Commander.
about, right? These insane clips that have been so normalized on apps like Twitch.
Okay.
I
I'll
guess
keep
we're
the
kind of,
bastards off ya.
complacent. We just-
Move in.
But this is the main clip we were sharing some of these.
Think I came prepared.
One step closer to victory.
We're being attacked!
America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it, I'm saying it.
We're there to partner with them. We're not there doing anything. We're there partnering and training.
Basically, comments like that. I think these things have been normalized on Twitch, and people hear outrageous, crazy things all the time. Show clips like this to a normal, average person who's
We
not,
need to gather more
too
wood,
familiar
Commander.
with streaming platforms like Twitch and not too ingrained in all these cultures. They'd be shocked. They'd be like, "What is this dude saying?" And you can say that about this clip or any of the other clips that we were just briefly looking at. It's insane, and it's the fact that this stuff is
We're
tolerated
being attacked!
is crazy, and this is what's going to lead to an
I'll buy it.
apocalypse. If you're talking about that, it's not because of Asmongold, it's because of extreme content like this being normalized and promoted on the platform. But overall, I think what Asmongold is doing is a good thing, and I think it's something that he's willing to take a risk. He's willing to take, because at this point, I don't really know what else is there for him on Twitch at this point, and he's ready to
We're
move
being
on to
attacked!
another platform if this results in his ban, and I definitely don't blame him. But for now,
That's me.
That's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, feel free to share your
Consider
thoughts
it
about
done.
these topics.
No
in the
one
comments.
lives forever.
And I'll see you guys next time.
Consider it done.
Building completed.
Hey everyone, I'm Megan Kelly. Welcome to the Megan Kelly Show. I'm already really enjoying the Trump almost presidency. I think he loves the drama. I think he loves sending people just running with their hair on fire to their little keyboards to write things about him, good, bad, or otherwise. And that's what he's been doing for the past 8 days. Probably will be doing for the next 4 years.
They killed one of our
The
heroes.
nuclear meltdown portion of the
We're not
post-2024
losing
election
you.
news cycle as President-elect Trump's proposed cabinet takes shape. If you thought
Come on,
Pete
we're not
Hegseth's
losing you.
Building
nomination,
completed.
that's hard to say, Hegseth's. Pete Hegseth's. Try to say that.
Come
Nomination
on,
to lead
we're
the
not
Defense
losing
Department
you.
would get people talking. Buckle up, baby, because another pick late yesterday sent shockwaves
Who's to
through both
challenge
parties.
us?
President
Our
Trump
president.
announcing
We're being attacked!
Congressman Matt Gaetz as his nominee for Attorney General.
I could use some healing.
Where were you when you heard? What? As Sarah would say. My hair's done. It happened on the same day that the former president made a triumphant return to the White House and was greeted by a positively beaming Joe Biden. The news cycle is a gift. We've got the perfect guests to discuss all this and more today. Joining me today for the full show, the fellas from the Ruthless program, Josh Holmes, Michael Duncan, John Ashbrook, and the man known to his minions as Comfortably Smug. Don't miss a moment. Subscribe to this show
We're being
on
attacked.
YouTube and follow me on Insta, Facebook, and X. This holiday season, millions of families across America will rely on credit card rewards to visit their loved ones. But according to our sponsor, the Electronic Payments Coalition, DC politicians are trying to pass a bill that would lead to the end of credit card rewards. They say the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill would mandate credit cards be run on alternative networks, not the trusted and stable networks that you probably use today. And there's no guarantee that the convenience, zero liability fraud protection,
Building
and rewards
completed.
programs will remain. The Electronic Payments Coalition says
We need to
corporate
gather more
megastores
wood,
will
Commander.
make more money while you sacrifice your king of convenience, rewards, and peace of mind. Find out more at guardyourcard.com and consider telling Congress to guard
What
your
is it?
card and
Piece
oppose
of cake.
the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. Learn more at guardyourcar.com.
Oh, you'll get a good return
Guys,
on your
welcome back to the show. Oh, it's so good.
We're being attacked.
So much to talk about. Sometimes we save the best stories for you, and sometimes we just get smiled on by the gods.
I feel like it's hard to catch up.
All right, then, let's get to it.
All right, I mean, where were you when you heard Matt Gaetz, right? Because I think we were all like, oh, Pete Hegseth, well, there's a curveball. And then it was like, no, right? My exchanges with my team was like, we're the bullshit. No, you lie. And sure enough, he's proposing, he's nominating Matt Gaetz to be the Attorney General. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't even 100% sure Matt Gaetz was a lawyer until I was reminded he is a lawyer.
We need to gather more wood,
predictable
Commander.
response. Fetterman, I think, probably summed it up the best by saying the following. I think this is it. Let's listen to SOT 1.
I mean, I would describe it as God tier level trigger, full-on China syndrome to own the libs in perpetuity.
Pretty accurate. I think he's right.
Right? What do you guys make of it?
I love that he gets it.
Yeah.
I mean, he totally gets it.
Well, I like to think of Donald Trump as like a T-Rex from Jurassic Park, and he's testing the electric fencing on Washington. You know, like see how many of the establishment he can anger with these nominations, which has been very entertaining.
Yeah, Pete Hegseth obviously created the defense industrial complex meltdown that we saw. And he was like, God, I really thought that would be worse.
Yeah.
Oh, well, get a load of this one.
Totally. So somebody was saying that, like, Hegseth was the prep for Gaetz, you know, and now Gaetz could be
Right
prep.
here,
For
if you say
Hegseth
so.
was the
Building
prep for
completed.
Tulsi, and Tulsi will be the prep for Gaetz, and now God only knows what's coming next. Like, no idea.
Well, I think the greatest renewable energy in Washington, D.C.
On
is
it.
outrage.
Yes, I'm on it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's threatening to take that meter down to zero.
All right, so let's talk about it, because
It's them
Gaetz,
or us.
for the listening audience, is controversial for a number of reasons. He is definitely a professional shit stirrer. He is fiercely loyal to Donald Trump. He actually is a very effective cross-examiner, and that I am realizing comes from his time as a lawyer. But he's very good when he's going after somebody else.
Building completed.
But he is also immersed in controversy. Some salacious allegations have been made against him by the DOJ, which then decided not to pursue charges. Gaetz has denied these charges. We can talk about them. But still under investigation by the House Ethics Committee or Oversight Committee. Now that's done because he resigned yesterday when this news came up. But it's going to come up if he goes through a confirmation hearing. And then also something probably closer to your hearts, you guys. He took down Kevin McCarthy as House Speaker over on the Republican side, and then kind of didn't really have a solution ready to go once Kevin McCarthy fell. But this is one of the reasons why a lot of the so-called establishment Republicans hate him.
Let's be quick.
And therefore
We need
it
to
is,
gather more
let's
wood,
say,
Commander.
far from a guarantee that he will be confirmed, because we already have Murkowski and Collins on the record seeming to say it's a no. They can't afford to lose too many others. And, you know, you've got some squishes over there when it comes to these kinds of people. So I don't know. Andy McCarthy says, why are we even engaging in this debate? He's never going to be confirmed. So this is all pointless. So who wants to take it? Any of those?
Yes. You're sure of
Well,
this?
yeah, look, all of that is true. Everything you said is true. And he's dedicated his entirety of his congressional career to creating enemies, mostly from within, like mostly within his own party, that kind of goes way beyond the establishment of your own party. He's just not played by anybody's rules, which I imagine probably makes him pretty popular amongst the American people, certainly outside the Beltway. The problem is as you suggested, at some point you have to figure out how to get 51 votes to get confirmed as Attorney General.
I think we may have talked about this, months and months and months ago, Megan, is that Donald Trump's nominee to be Attorney General was always going to be the most controversial. It was going to be the most difficult because of this hardened Democratic opposition to it, some concerns lingering on the Republican side about what he would do with the Department of Justice. And so, he just went full Leroy Jenkins on it, and he was like, if you're going to be controversial, well, let's make it the most controversial. And that's where we're at. I do think the only thing that I'm concerned about from the Trump standpoint is how much political capital do you use on this stuff. He's got 4 years, and you got to figure out how to get a whole bunch of things done in the first 6-8 months. And political capital is at its highest when you win an election, certainly in the fashion that he did, and you begin to drain political capital out of it with each thing that you do that becomes controversial that you have to actually use the power of the presidency to try to get through. Using too much on this in what may very well be something that just can't be done concerns me a little bit, because there's a whole bunch of things about that Trump agenda the American people really, really want to spend all of his political capital getting.
Yeah, but he has earned the right to pick who he wants. He had a huge win last Tuesday, and he has a mandate to pick whoever he wants. And the Senate is going to consider them, and we'll see what happens. But I mean, if you look at Gates, like you said, he can cross-examine. The guy is not without talent. And if you look at the beginning of his career, he is a guy who supported Jeb Bush in 2016, which I think is why Comfortably Smug liked him so much. Smug really liked Jeb.
So I look at the same data that Ashbrook and Holmes are presenting, and I think it's accurate, but my conclusion is completely different. President Trump did come away with an absolute mandate, which is why I think every one of these senators should be on board with it. And like Holmes said, there's a small window where Trump can act, and it's even shorter than 4 years. It's even shorter than 2 years. It's probably the first 100 days where you can really move the ball before you start getting all the opposing forces organized and trying to stop Trump's agenda, which is why I think Matt Gaetz would be the perfect person you want in place in the first 100 days. I think what most of these people are afraid of is,
what is it?
Oh God, we have the Department of Justice, and we used it to go after conservatives. We used it to go after Trump. You had Merrick Garland calling parents who would show up to school board meetings domestic terrorists. So we don't need to send, the same old. We need to send the message that, hey, that time is up. There's a new sheriff in town.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I agree with you, Smug.
Yeah.
I was never really a Matt Gaetz fan. I was never really a huge Matt Gaetz
building completed
at all. I haven't really spent any time thinking about him other than with that whole Kevin McCarthy defenestration thing. But I know that there are allegations against him. There are no charges, so that's that. I mean, they weren't able to make any charges, and it involved his alleged relationship with a 17-year-old girl, which he's denied. And then they were accusing him of sex trafficking. He went on, he denied this, and this is the thing he went on Tucker about. A long time ago, he answered the charges, he says bullshit, and didn't go anywhere. So, I mean, that's that. We'll see what the House says, if there's something more. But if there was something seriously more, we would have seen a charge. But what I look at is two things. Number one, and I tweeted this out yesterday, if you are Donald Trump and your chosen attorney general has turned you over to Robert Mueller, who then ruined your first term as president with a bunch of bullshit, then you leave office and the next guy's attorney general is behind not one but two criminal prosecutions of you, and his DOJ is cooperating with not one but two state prosecutions of you in a bridge that's never been crossed in our 250-year history as a nation, then I, too, might prize loyalty to me above all other qualities and go with a guy like Matt Gaetz. Who can blame Trump for trying to pick the most loyal soldier he can find for this position? And then point two is what you just said, Smug. Eric Holder was a partisan hack loser. And so is Merrick Garland. Partisan hack loser.
We're being attacked.
I don't care. Like, at this point, I'm like, you know what?
What do you need?
People. Get the fighter in there. The gloves are off. You took them off. Now Trump's brought in his own guy with the brass knuckles. It's on.
Yeah, that's the greatest fear of Democrats is that other people will do to them what they've been doing to the American people.
This is how it
And
ends.
Trump picking people who are loyal to him is exactly what the American people want. That's why he has the popular vote on top of the Electoral College in his victory. He needs to send people who will execute his vision 100%. And if he sees Matt Gaetz as a loyalist who's willing to accomplish that, I'm 100% on board.
I don't blame you, Duncan, for being a little squeamish about, you know, some rando establishment attorney general. Sorry,
I'm ready.
You go.
Go. Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, it's going to take a very strong person to fix these gigantic problems at DOJ, and Gaetz will take a meat axe to it.
I will follow.
You can bet on that.
All right.
And if he doesn't get there, Trump will find somebody else who will do the exact same thing because these problems have to be addressed. That's why he was elected. We're being attacked.
Consider it done.
Go ahead.
Oh, you're getting a good return on your
Let's
investment.
see you looking at me, Michael.
I heard you there, Megan. Am I
Yes.
squeamish about it? No, I just
On your
reinforce
order.
Holmes's take on this. It's like you don't want to
Keep it up.
waste political
You're
capital on
sure
things
of
that
this?
aren't going to happen. I agree
It's
with
them
everything
or
that
us.
Smug said. In
We're
fact, I think
being
it goes deeper than that. You go back and look at what James Comey did at the beginning of Trump's first administration, where he basically went to Trump Tower to President-elect Donald Trump and tried to entrap him and gave him opera research generated by the Hillary Clinton campaign and said, hey, did you pee on prostitutes?
It must be done.
And then he scurried back down to his car and typed out a bunch of notes and tried to leak it to the media to get a special counsel appointed.
Building completed.
So I'm all for that and rooting out all of the deep state bureaucracy at DOJ and the FBI and all those sort of things. I just don't want to waste any time. The thing that makes me squeamish is trying to get a Gaetz through, and we waste a lot of time solving these problems because, like you said, Susan Collins, Murkowski, like that's just political reality. There are people who are going to not support him. And I saw Dick Durbin this morning telling the House Ethics Committee that he'd love to see that report for the hearings against Matt Gaetz.
Just what I need.
It's going to be a circus. That's all I'm saying.
So just to be clear, Susan Collins,
I'll keep the bastards
reports
off
are that she will oppose. Murkowski said, quote, we need to have a serious attorney general.
Consider it
and I'm
done.
looking forward to the opportunity to consider somebody that is serious. This one was not on my bingo card. So she hasn't said no, but she certainly sounds like enough. Then Senator Tom Tillis, Republican of North Carolina, he
This is it. Not yet.
What is
very
it?
few skills. Vote counting is one. And I think he's got a lot of work to do to get to 50. So it's really about the Republicans. There's this is on the record from Republican Senator Bill Cassidy, who dodged Politico's question on Gaetz, saying, I'm trying to go fix a toilet between getting back for a vote. Life's a little hectic right now. I don't know whether that's
Let me focus.
Megan, that's what you're seeing. And I think, look, there's an issue at the beginning of every administration, and that what you would like to do is you take your political capital, take the mandate the American people gave you, and put your hardened opposition in a very
Let me
difficult
focus.
place. And I think Donald Trump has got the opportunity to literally break the Democratic
One
Party.
step
I mean, you
closer
look
to
at all of
victory.
the recriminations. It's Joe Biden's fault.
The
Barack
outpost has
Obama's
been
fault.
built. We've
It's George
expanded
Clooney's
our
fault.
borders.
It's Hollywood's fault. It's Oprah's fault. Like, they're all blaming everybody. They don't know. You hear people saying, like, oh, we've got to moderate on social issues, or oh, we've got to be more clear populist opposition to big business. They don't know what the hell. They don't have an identity at all. But the conversation that we're having right now is a conversation about
Consider
Donald
it
Trump
done.
versus Republicans. And I think if you're doing that for a prolonged period of time at the beginning
It must
of
be
an
done.
administration,
We're
you're sort of
being
missing
attacked.
the opportunity to sort of
This is
forever
it.
change not only the policy that comes after it, but the political dynamic in which Democrats live in, which they're very, very uncomfortable with, provided you have a united Republican Party that is absolutely beating the drum. And it just makes Dick Durbin's job easier. It makes Chuck Schumer's job easier when we're arguing amongst ourselves. And I
So what you're
understand.
saying, Holmes, is he can go provocative, but he can't go full-on nuclear.
Yeah, I think he can do whatever the hell he wants. You just have to know
What's
that
it
the
like to
backdrop of all of that is that each one of these United States
Yes.
senators wake up every morning and see a president of the United States in their own mirrors, right? All of them are elected statewide. Many of them were elected by everyone that we just
It must
mentioned
be
on this
done.
program
Came prepared. Let me quick.
were elected before Donald Trump ever came around, right? So, like, you have to
Building
try to
completed.
figure out what is the best use of your political capital? And if it's Matt Gaetz, if they decide it's Matt Gaetz, well, then it is Matt Gaetz. And then we'll see how that whole thing plays out. But I just worry about sort of the underpinning of that.
But, you know, you mentioned, I think it was you, Duncan, or Ashbrook, you mentioned the FBI, and that's another thing. I mean, the FBI is within the DOJ, and that's the organization that raided Mar-a-Lago and tried to humiliate him. That's the organization that spied on churchgoers under Joe Biden to see if we were wearing our masks. That is the organization that Biden pulled in to discuss whether parents objecting to the masks and the mandates and the school lockdowns were domestic terrorists. And that is the organization that most Republicans believe needs to be shredded down to the studs and rebuilt fresh from scratch to focus on only one thing, which is law enforcement and not these investigations and so on. That is probably part of this too. You know, there was a report, I think it was Politico today, I think, where, did you see the guy who runs Poly Market? Had an FBI raid, the FBI raided his house this morning at 6 a.m. and took his phone and other things. And apparently one source close to Trump World in an interview to, I'll figure out, was Politico or Axios, I get them confused, said,
go ahead.
He picked, it was Axios, he picked Matt Gaetz to stop shit like that. Like, just to bring, or look at what happened to James O'Keefe, right? Like, they're trying to harass him, the FBI showed up and raided his house too.
Building completed.
Reporting on the Ashley Biden diary. I mean, we really had some rogue FBI behavior here. And I can see why they think you don't want a perfectly polite, you know, Queen's English, pinky out tea sipping lawyer
right here
to run herd over these guys.
And that's the thing is, it's frustrating that you have
the outpost has been built. We've expanded our borders.
Wouldn't this cause some problems? And the Democrats never thought, will this cause some problems when they sent Merrick Garland, who wasn't fit for the Supreme Court, so he's not there. When they sent Eric Holder, who, since running the
our workers are under attack,
gone on to essentially start a dark money group that gerrymanders districts across America, so conservatives can have their voice heard. So we need to stop thinking about, oh, would this cause some problems? Am I going to have a tough press conference? And think about, what could we gain from having Matt Gaetz there? If he shows up day one at the FBI and says, anyone who has a problem with me, get up and leave, and you see half the people in that building leave, that's a huge win.
Our workers are under attack.
Yeah. I guess at the end of the day, what I would prefer is that, like, the opposition, I'm listening. You're playing a heads-up match against somebody. They take out the driver and they hit it.
They killed one of our heroes.
Pull a 5-iron.
Pull a 5-iron. Get it down the middle of the fairway.
Healing
go
now.
And use your political capital on, I don't know, deportation.
Our workers are under attack.
Issue in this country. Fixing the economy. Ending the war.
Damn it.
Those things
Healing now.
are worth using your political
He doesn't
capital.
need to.
Stay close. They killed one of our heroes.
What do you mean? He already has the public support on those issues. So he doesn't have to political capital to do those things.
I could use some help. Well, what I'm saying is,
what now?
The Democrats on the deportation issue will make it a circus. They're going to make it a circus on Matt Gaetz.
Yes.
But when what's his name? Is not
yes.
Like,
yeah.
oh man.
When all that stuff starts implemented and put in motion, there's just an effect in Washington, I think, 3 months into a new administration, 6 months, where the cement starts to harden and it gets harder to do things legislatively, right? And so if you get all these things in process and in motion in the first 100 days, you're going to reap the political benefits into the future. I mean, I think the biggest question...
How much... let me ask this quickly. How much can they slow down? How much can the Democrats slow down this confirmation hearing? So, like, how long will this drama be with us?
Well, it's not really up to the Democrats to provide the pace. I mean, it will be Chairman Grassley, the Judiciary Committee chair, will set a timeline. They'll obviously have to go through your background checks and your financial disclosures and all of that. And once they're satisfied with the information, then he sets a hearing date. You've got hearings and ultimately, report out a committee and they'll send it for a confirmation. So Democrats can't do a whole bunch about that. But what they can do is turn the Judiciary Committee into a big top circus, as we saw.
Our workers are under attack,
for example.
And need help.
Yeah, and the question is, look, everything that you guys have talked about in terms of the problems
our workers
with the
are under
Justice
attack.
Department, the problems with Merrick Garland, you know, Eric Holder insane, the FBI, everything they're doing. Nobody disagrees on that. I don't think there's any Republican that disagrees with the notion that we have to do something about that. I guess the question is whether or not you send RuPaul into it.
Our workers are under attack.
There's different ways.
Holmes is not a Gates fan. I think we've determined. Holmes
Our workers are under attack.
I don't dislike him. I mean, to be honest with you,
Ancestors' blessings out.
I
managed to find some more for you.
Said some nice things
Here
about
you
the
go.
Ruthless Variety
Definitely.
program, so
I have to thank you.
No problem with this guy.
Ancestors' blessings.
I have a problem.
Our workers are
with
under
us
attack.
just sort of pretending gravity doesn't exist. And what I really
We're gonna
wish.
find out whether it does.
Yeah, I wish we would
Our
take
workers
the
are under
opportunity
attack.
to sort of like study and understand how the most effective implementations of policy have happened, because we don't have a
Doesn't
very
sound
long.
like Trump.
Our workers are under attack.
No, it doesn't, but it doesn't. He ran a campaign that did, though. You know, I mean, he ran a campaign that was technically.
This is his most sensitive area. This is like the crowd size piece of policy for him. Like, trigger, you know, like DOJ, FBI. Imagine. I mean, I understand it for the reasons I just stated. Who has harassed Trump more than this string of DOJs? It's his own to begin with. Jeff Sessions recused, handed the thing over to Bob Mueller. Bob Mueller took over, made his life a living hell. And, you know, then he had Attorney General after Attorney General who he couldn't stand, who he didn't feel was loyal to him. And even the New York Times is reporting about this morning, like, well, they were grown-ups who were loyal to trying to keep him in check. Well, he doesn't want that. And the American public may say we like it. They may not. But Trump, he's not required to like it. This time around, he got smart for what he wants, and he's like, I'm getting a loyalist.
Well, the problem was the first time around is this guy was elected president. And what Duncan pointed out about Jim Comey is that he started his job assuming that the government who worked for him and worked for the American people and the voters who chose him would carry out his mission. What he found out on day one is that the deep state is full of people who think they're in charge, not that the voters are in charge. And he learned that he has to fight them. And so at the same time that he has to have a smart plan and go up to the hill and be realistic about what he's capable of achieving, he also needs to make sure that his six is covered inside of his own administration. And without the right people who are going to fist fight these bureaucrats who think they're in charge instead of the voters, he's not going to be able to get anything done there either. So I think, like, maybe Matt Gaetz doesn't ultimately get there, but whoever Trump has at the Department of Justice has to be laser focused on making sure that the voters' will is represented rather than the bureaucrats' will.
And the other thing that Eric Holder's DOJ did, and this DOJ as well, is sick the DOJ on police officers around the country, on entire police forces that aren't compliant with the DEI requirements, or that they basically come in and take over via a forced consent degree, which isn't consensual at all. Like, we're going to make your life a living hell unless you let us basically run your policing. Towns like Ferguson, Missouri. And that harassment needs to end, and those are brutal fights too. So you do need a fighter who's kind of a mother. Yes, you need that. That's Trump. And this is the guy, like, I don't know. I kind of am curious to see if it could work out.
Let me focus.
Maybe I'll rue the words. Maybe he will get confirmed and he'll go in there and it'll be a nightmare. But I'm kind of curious to see what it would be like. I want to show the audience some of what we're talking about.
Our workers are under attack.
We shall look at some of the controversy around the Matt Gaetz, courtesy of CNN.
Donald Trump's selection of Congressman Matt Gaetz to be Attorney General sent shockwaves through Washington and the country yesterday. Gaetz has earned notoriety for a variety of political stunts over the years. He was on Capitol Hill wearing a gas mask during the COVID pandemic. But it's been his sexual, not political exploits that have landed him in trouble in recent years.
Sleeping with an underage girl.
Though there was some kind of fortified area farther up north, we should make sure there's no one there to surprise us.
Right. I saw that too. Let's take a look.
We've expanded our borders.
He would crush ED medicine and chase it with an energy drink so he could go all night.
Oh boy, that's a Republican.
That was Senator Mark Wayne Mullins last year.
it's not just a Republican. I mean, that's one of Donald Trump's most aligned Republicans in the entire conference. I mean, that is a MAGA guy through and through. Right.
So what you're saying is that the confirmation hearings are going to be NC-17. Like,
where are we going?
We should not let our children
lead on then.
Watch. Is that pretty much where we are?
I don't know that we can ask for anything more.
I think it's going to be must-see TV.
This is the same playbook that they pulled on Trump. They said, oh gosh, all this salacious stuff about him, there's this Access Hollywood, and there's this porn star who now owes Donald Trump money for lying about him. It's like, when are we going to learn that you can't compromise with these people? Trump tried to compromise, he tried to play nice. He had Dianna Feinstein show up at one of the press conferences. He had Schumer and Pelosi show up at press conferences, and all they did was try to stand in his way, obstruct, and now try to put him in jail. Why should he compromise on anything? And Republicans shouldn't be focused on, oh, is this gonna compromise to
because
get
they forced us. Look, I know how it sounds.
You're mercenaries.
From Wolf Guy, yeah. When that tough
beasts.
Yes, we're beast tamers. Obviously, the problem was.
Yes.
That's what the American people wanted.
And this might
you have 100 days to get shit done.
Oh, yeah.
We tried to. If you and those
I mean, that's strange.
How lame duck status. Let's take a look at Matt Gaetz. I show you some of the negative allegations against him, though
if we let you go,
what incident is positive for him.
I'm done with that kind of life. But I stop once I'm back in Wolfgar. I'll pay out my men and probably go look for some rich noble interested in starting his own collection of exotic animals.
Fine.
Count on it. Thanks, friend. That really means something. Come, I'll show you the beasts.
Say again, yes or no? You're asking me to comment on a case currently.
Well, it seems you're connecting the dots, Mr. Attorney General. I'm just asking you as to a general principle, but you are aware that Judge Merchan's daughter was profiting off of this process.
Here we go. There, boy. All right. I guess you know already that it's not the beetles causing the fog, but those fungi. They grow on, which means, who would have thought, that you have to destroy all the fungi on a patch of land to clear it from fog and rot. The beetles feed off the shroom spores, so they protect them like their own eggs. However, going on a mushroom purge alone won't do the trick. One of my scouts found out as long as that's breathing of spores, the fungi in the areas you... In other words, clear the sector where mama fungus grows, build an outpost, and have your workers shredded better of whatever flying unit you send to destroy the shrooms.
Griffins, purity, fungal fog. Not what I agree.
I can see that.
Well, let's see what those flying creatures can do. The sooner we get rid of the fungi, the sooner we can get our answers.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Look, if it comes down to a rhetorical battle, I feel pretty confident that he's going to do just fine. The question is whether it gets to that or not.
Who are the likely no votes outside of Collins and Murkowski, guys?
I think there's about a third of that conference that wants this thing to get taken where they actually have to do anything about it. I think... Wait,
look, what do you mean? What do you mean?
I think if you had a vote within the House of Representatives, which thankfully for him you don't have to do, but amongst Republicans in the House of Representatives, I don't know that he'd get more than 30 votes. Like, I think this is somebody who people, it's not an unknown quantity. You know, we're talking about the Matt Gaetz as though, you know, he just sort of showed up and he's President Trump's pick. He is that. But he's also spent the last 6-7 years around a whole bunch of people who now determine his fate. And that is not an irrelevant piece of this puzzle. I mean, if you have Mark Wayne Mullen, of all people, expressing deep concern about his character, that bleeds over into a whole bunch of people. And again...
They're not going to be worried, Josh, about crossing Trump?
Well, I do. I think that's why there's a whole bunch of people who have not discussed whether or not they'll be supportive or not. Unlike Pete Hegseth, where people ran out right immediately and they said, "Oh, what a controversial pick," and people are like, "Well, I think it's a great pick." I think enormous amount of Republican senators that came out for a very uncontroversial pick. And I do not, just once again, I don't want to conflate two things. There is nobody in the Republican conference in the Senate who thinks you ought to have a Merrick Garland-led DOJ, or that what the FBI did was great, or that the lawfare against President Trump and his allies is fair game. Like, nobody thinks that. Everyone thinks that this place needs an incredible amount of work. The question is whether this is the guy who is not only most capable of doing it, but could do it at all. And that, as I think, is what's going to be litigated. Now, there's a chance he could get confirmed here, but he's got a lot of work to do, is my only point.
And what I would consider for a lot of these Republican senators, especially the ones who voted to confirm Merrick Garland, is how about you rethink your thinking on what you would support for an attorney general? Were you wrong in the past? Maybe you should go with Trump. He's been right to the point that so many Americans, you have the Democrat Party, AOC removed the pronouns from her bio today on Twitter. Okay, they're
She
on the
did?
run.
What?
Yeah, they're on the run, and it's because of Trump. It's not because a bunch of Republican
that's
senators.
shocking.
No, it was Trump, and so he knows what he's doing. You got to get on board with this agenda. The American people have said that they wanted it. Why would Republican senators stand in the way of the mission that Trump is on, that the American people have put him on?
And honestly, and it's not like the DOJ is such a vaunted institution currently in November 2024 that we have to maintain how pristine it is. We can't have untoward hands touching it. Please, it has its reputation is in tatters thanks to its own behavior. Merrick Garland ruined it, absolutely ruined the DOJ. He'll have to account for that with his God when he eventually meets him. Okay, you mentioned Chuck Schumer, who is now the minority leader.
Yes?
And get a load of this guy.
Building completed.
God, it's amazing to me to watch these guys go. It's SOT 7.
To my Republican colleagues, I offer a word of caution in good faith. Take care not to misread the will of the people, and do not abandon the need for bipartisanship. After winning an election, the temptation may be to go to the extreme. We've seen that happen over the decades, and it's consistently backfired on the party in power. So instead of going to the extremes, I remind my colleagues that this body is most effective when it's bipartisan. Democrats will never abandon our values, but neither will we reject an opportunity to move the ball forward to make people's lives better when we can. The question is now whether or not Republicans are willing to do the same. To my colleagues on the other side, once again, do not abandon bipartisanship.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a completely different tune than when he was threatening Supreme Court justices when they
Like
were...
here, listen, Ashbrook, we have it. SOT 8.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch. I want to tell you, Kavanaugh. You have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
There's that bipartisanship.
You won't know what hit you
John.
if you go forward with these awful decisions.
Wow.
Just perfect timing.
We're being I think that's attacked. The only time Schumer was surprised. It's the only time a crowd has cheered when he opened his mouth. You know, I mean, not exactly a great.
Our workers are under attack. The worst. He's so shameless. It reminds me of the story, Megan, back in 2016. Democrats were absolutely so certain that Hillary Clinton was going to win and not going to sweep in a Democratic Senate. In that point, it was a Republican majority.
Commander, we
Schumer
finished
called
researching a new
McConnell
technology
the day before the election, and he said, "You know, Mitch, this may not.
Our workers are under
I sure
attack.
hope we can count on you." And we'll work in a bipartisan fashion, but I hope I can count on your cooperation. And like, sure enough, the results come in, and it's like
our workers are under
the
attack.
size of you know the mountains. And so
That's amazing.
Just called him back and was like, you know what, Chuck, I think that was a good.
We're being attacked.
I think that would make a lot of sense to be cooperative.
Yeah, you know, I mean, the Democratic Senate majority, you know, they are all about making DC a state and Puerto Rico state and eliminating the Electoral College and eliminating the filibuster. Yes. And I wonder on that last one, eliminating the filibuster, if they're still in support of that. You know, now that we control the chamber.
You think about guys.
Why don't we do it just for abortion? That's what Kamala Harris said she believed in, that we should eliminate it just for abortion. Okay, why don't we do that now? Let's eliminate minority rights in the Senate just on abortion, so that the Republicans with a 51, 33 seat majority can push through whatever national abortion legislation they want. How do they really feel about that? It's so hypocritical. These people are so dishonest. It's absurd. And they're not going to do it. To their credit, you will not see Donald Trump or these Republicans in control of the Senate and the House even try that. It's a liberal pipe dream, and shame on her for even pretending that it was a reality. It's not going to do it. I want to spend a minute on Tulsi Gabbard. So, Director of National Intelligence, which has gotten a lot of people upset as well. By the way, was it the greatest trade to get Tulsi for Liz Cheney? I mean, that... I don't
We're
think
being attacked.
I'd make a sports analogy, but I don't know any. So they're upset. They don't want her to do this. They're actually back some corners of the internet with she's a Russian spy.
Yes.
Like she's somehow Russian because Hillary Clinton put out that nonsense when Tulsi was so effective in that 2020 presidential debate. In any event, what is going to happen with Tulsi when she be confirmed as Director of National Intelligence?
Take them out. Yeah, I think she's got a different set of criteria and that most people do like Tulsi Gabbard. And I think she's spent an awful lot of time over the last couple of years explaining her journey.
We're being attacked.
You know, being a Bernie Sanders supporter, essentially, all the way to Donald Trump and the Republican Party and where she's gone. From an intel perspective, she's got a resume that works amongst anyone.
We're being attacked
there. She's a veteran. She's very smart. She's spent a lot of time on these issues. I think there'll probably be some pretty serious questions. I mean, this is what the nomination process should look like, by the way. I mean, we have Tom Cotton, the senator.
Our workers are under attack.
From Arkansas, who's now #3 in leadership. He will lead the intel panel in the Senate. And he's got some very specific ideas when it comes to intelligence and national security that he's going to want some assurances to be addressed. She's going to have an opportunity. And I think provided she handles those confirmation questions well, I can very easily see her getting confirmed.
Well, can I ask you another question? By the way, credit to Greg Price for that Tulsi for, Cheney line. He figured that out earlier. Can I ask you a question? So she's going to get in there. I don't think Tulsi is an expert in national intelligence. I don't see anything in her resume that would suggest she is. But she's an honest broker. She served our country in the military. Obviously, she was a congresswoman. I think he's hiring her for her judgment and her loyalty and her sensibilities. So is that good enough? I mean, she's going to be surrounded by a team that will help her understand the issues. But am I wrong? Like, as long as she's got a team that can say,
we're being attacked.
Here are the decisions we need to make.
You know it. Over here.
She can do this
This
job.
way.
Yeah, I mean, no question she can do this. I do think she's got pieces of her resume that do fit this, and I think she spent an enormous amount of time on national security issues in her career and sort of understands it.
Our workers are under attack.
Set of questions that is going to be most significant amongst Senate Republicans, and it comes down to
our workers are under attack.
Viewpoint of data collection and information collection of our intelligence agencies. This has been a battle going back to the Bush administration.
Our workers are under attack.
Democrats used to be for it, and then they were against it. Republicans have always sort of had this viewpoint.
Our workers are under attack.
Foreign adversaries, and the more libertarian-leaning side of the Republican Party, think like Rand Paul, has always had a problem with that, and she's sort of aligned herself.
Our workers are under attack.
View of a lot of that. That is not where the center of that conference is. But I think when she listens to these arguments and understands fully, you're right, she's an honest broker. I think she has every capability of providing assurances that she's not going to, like, shut down the intelligence apparatus of the United States.
The outpost has been built. We've expanded our borders.
She won't do that. And I think
she's not going to go spying on civilians, though.
Yeah. She's not, and that's look. That is where this whole thing has gone astray, and where
our
people
workers are under attack.
To figure out where those lines are. It's a very complicated process, but it's one who somebody like that, with integrity, could help get the base of the Republican Party back to one
where are we going?
Of how you handle intelligence collection from our agencies.
I think the one thing that Smug mentioned earlier, which is 100% true, and I think is
building completed.
All these picks is like Donald Trump wants people he can trust in all these departments to execute his agenda.
We're being attacked,
and that means they have to have loyalty to that vision. Whether it's Matt Gaetz or Pete Hegseth or Tulsi, somebody with a different view who reflects the mandate that voters gave him on election day, and is there to disrupt the status quo and the failed bureaucracy. I mean, and it's not just Tulsi, it's not just Matt Gaetz. I mentioned Pete Hegseth. You remember, for the 4 years of the Trump administration, like the idea of a deep state became a joke in liberal media. They're like, ha ha ha, that doesn't exist. And then the second Donald Trump's administration was over, you had media reports about how people in the Pentagon slow-walked his policies that he wanted to implement, which
I don't know, feels like a fireable offense. Yes. You know, that they weren't informing the President of the United States, that like, when he told them, hey, this is how I want to plan the step down in withdrawal in Afghanistan, they would ignore him. They'd slow walk him. They would hope he would forget. That's why these picks are so important for Donald Trump. He needs people that he can deputize at these departments to fulfill his objectives.
That's right. I got to tell you this. So yesterday we talked a little bit about Kristi Noem, who I admit was not my favorite after the puppy killing incident. And the reports about her and Corey Lewandowski. I'm not gonna lie, I've changed my opinion of her, even though I really like her when she came on the show to promote her book. But if she gets confirmed to this very important position, we are going to have to support her, and I will.
The outpost has been built.
The more I
We've
thought
expanded
about it,
our
the more
borders.
I kept thinking along the lines of, you know, Tulsi for Liz, and what a good trade this was. Who in their right mind wouldn't take Kristi Noem over Rachel Levine, which is one of he is one.
First to the fallout from the U.S. election, and some journalists don't appear to be coping very well.
Keep it up.
Knowing all that we know about Donald Trump, his vulgarity and brutality, his 34 felony counts and adjudicated sexual abuse of E.G. Carroll, and so many other women he preyed on.
I'll keep the bastards off you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here. People on Facebook are so stupid. Dude, they are so stupid. Is there a point even discussing politics on Facebook anymore? Like you're actually gonna change someone's mind through the Socratic method? Somehow use your words to convince them unless I'm an idiot, bunch of morons posting links to unaccredited blogs to prove some kind of point?
Yes, one step closer to victory.
Conspiracy. Here's 10 pages on this website that proves everything. Handing out reading assignments. And you read this, and you get back to me, and you tell me how right I was. So stupid, same stupid idiots complain about privacy issues on Facebook. Oh my God, there's no privacy on Facebook.
Will not go
Facebook just keeps
unnoticed.
taking all my data. Facebook just keeps taking all the data, which I keep
The outpost
uploading
has been
to
built.
it.
We've expanded our borders.
Well, the tyranny never ends. I just keep uploading my data. Facebook just keeps taking it and taking it. So stupid. Facebook's trying to take your data. What makes you think Facebook wants your data? What do you do that's so awesome that Facebook wants your data? Were you Jason Bourne? Yeah, they want hacking a computer, get some sensitive intel. This multi-billion-dollar company, Harvard educated, they couldn't figure it out. They want your data. Yeah, they want your data. They want that photo of you lying on the beach, your legs in the sand, right? Or that photo of your cappuccino next to your notepad because that's how you sign your mortgage, right? Oh. Yeah. Thank God you did that. Thank God you did. That's multi-million-dollar data right there. That's a lot of money.
We're being
That's
attacked.
original content. Netflix wants to make a series from that. It's great. We live in such weird times now. Right? We live in such strange times. Like when the taxi ride to the airport started to cost more than the flight. When the hell did that happen? Can someone please explain to me how it's now cheaper to fly to the sky than it is to sit through?
We're being attacked.
Doesn't make any sense. I blame the budget airlines. That's right, these stupid low-cost budget airlines and the stupid no-frills culture.
We're being attacked.
No frills, man. You don't need frills. What, you high maintenance? No frills. No frills. Basics. No bugs. No frills. Frills? No. Listen, frills aren't the enemy. Okay? Stop waging war on frills. Stop making me sound like a diva because I want a blanket in sub-zero temperatures. Alright? Frills are good. Frills are good. Frills are the only thing that separates humans from animals. Yeah, I didn't spend 3 million years evolving to get up in the sky. Right, just give me.
We're being attacked.
Just give it to me. Without my credit cards, give me the damn tray of food. Damn budget, no frills to budget airlines. Dude, they're just trying to get the price low enough to where you don't care about dying. That's all that is.
We're being attacked.
Like, would you fly Air Asia? No. $50 to London. All right, I'll roll that dice. All right. Yeah. like a bargain to me. I'll roll that dice. Despite the fact there's absolutely no way you can afford to pay for the
Our workers are under attack.
Based on the $50
What now?
whatever, it's just my life. Let's do it. What's that, $50 return? All right, double or nothing. Let's go.
Our population is at maximum capacity. We need to expand.
Oh, what's that? I gotta bring my own seats? Yeah, it won't be a problem. I got plenty of them back home. I got foldable chairs and cup holders. I'll bring my own for now.
What is it?
I feel like we're all queuing up for the greatest war of our generation.
All right. Out of the way.
Right here? If you say so.
Our workers are under attack.
And shut up about
As
it.
you command.
Who cares what phone you use? As though like hating on someone else's phone is gonna like make your phone better.
We're being attacked.
Happens using Android.
Where to?
Finally!
Our workers are under
Just
attack.
mention the word iPhone around him in any context. If you just get the keyword, he just starts losing his right? You're not even talking to him. You're talking to someone else behind
Our workers
him.
are under attack.
iPhone! You just got an iPhone? iPhone sucks!
What do you want?
Look at my Android. It's getting stronger.
Our workers are under attack.
Look at this. It's like the dark side of the Force just unlocking new abilities.
Okay.
iPhone sucks!
Our workers are under attack.
Rise. Use what you want and shut up about it.
Our workers are under attack.
Like when the iPhone 6 came out, remember when the iPhone 6 came out? That guy released that YouTube video of the iPhone 6 bending. Remember that? Hey, everybody, look at this. Everyone, the iPhone
Our
6
workers
bends.
are under attack.
Look at this. If you do this to it, it bends. What a piece of shit this is. If you do
Our
this
workers
to
are
it,
under attack.
it bends.
Our workers are under attack.
Yeah, no kidding.
Good.
Oh, who would have thought that if you use all
good
of
idea.
your strength,
Our workers are under attack.
iPhone 6 at its weakest point,
Well then.
it breaks. Who knew?
Our workers are under attack.
Bridge of iPhone 6s.
I'm here.
Just no structural integrity whatsoever. Hey, listen, you guys have been great.
Our
Thanks for
workers are
listening.
under attack.
Space Force. The latest branch of the armed forces that after 30 years of planning finally sprung into existence thanks to the support of our last military genius.
We are going to have the Space Force.
But after a rocky launch,
Building
most
completed.
Americans still don't know what Space Force actually does. Until now.
Building completed.
I'm here at the Pentagon to find out what Space Force, the sixth and coolest branch of the U.S. military, does. I'm talking spaceships, lasers, it's the military in space.
Building completed.
Let's go check it out. Don't ask me how I got clearance. I'm not even an American
Building
citizen.
completed.
Somehow I scored an interview with the very first head of Space Force, 4-star General
Building
Jay
completed.
Raymond, at the geometry team headquarters of the U.S. Department of Defense. Obviously, our space military is cool as hell, but I wasn't sure what they actually do. So I made sure to prepare for this exclusive one-on-one interview.
Our workers are under attack.
On this. Why is it called the Pentagon?
Our workers are under attack.
Wait, you're saying Pentagon's a shape? Of what?
Pentagon. Take a look at the building. You obviously studied.
Our workers are under
Okay,
attack.
General, Space Force. We're talking lasers, spaceships, rockets, fighting aliens.
Absolutely not. The mission of the Space Force is
Building
really,
completed.
To protect and defend the capabilities that we have in space and to deter conflict from beginning in space or extending into space.
What does Space Force do?
Let me give you an example. We operate for the world, free of charge, the GPS constellation that provides you navigation and provides the world a timing signal.
We're being attacked!
Most people don't know that that's provided free of charge by the United States.
Space Force gives GPS.
Our workers are under attack.
Well, why don't you open this up? Call yourself the GPS tool.
We do a lot more than that.
Yeah, but it's always the thing that people know.
We do a lot more than that. Communication satellites. We have missile warning satellites that detect any kind of launch around the globe and provide an internet. And so, very critical to us, and our competitors or our adversaries have watched us and have seen us integrate space into everything that we do.
Who are our adversaries?
Specifically Russia and China. They're building space capabilities for their own use. So, for example, they have a satellite that they launched in 2017. I call it a nesting doll satellite. It's a satellite that opens up and another satellite comes out, and it opens up.
Right here, if you say so.
The outpost has been built. We've expanded our borders.
These nation satellites adopt their country's culture. Like if a Chinese satellite come out and
We're being attacked!
China has a satellite that has a robotic arm. This time, a robotic arm that can reach out and in the future grab that satellite. Satellite cannot do that. What is the Chinese satellite? I won't go into all the details of what we're going to do, but let's just say I'm very comfortable that we can protect and defend ourselves.
That's ominous as hell. But I still wasn't sure why America's already
Building
loaded
completed.
military needed a whole new military when we already have 5 other militaries.
General, why did Space Force become its own branch of the military?
The Air Force has a lot
What
of
do you require?
responsibilities that it does. It's primarily focused on the air domain, and the thought was because space was so critical to us, we had to stand up a separate service to be able to focus on it.
So atmosphere-wise, where
What
does
is
the
it?
Air Force end and Space Force begin?
There's really not a
On it.
piece of cake. Dedicated, recognized.
Cloud.
This better
But
be good.
what
All
happens
right,
Above
I'm
cloud,
going.
Space Force. Below
What's
cloud,
this?
Air Force.
You can think of it above.
Sure, all right.
Yes, I'm on
wings
it.
work, wings work, and we're over the night, planet takes over roughly about 100 kilometers.
Here we
So
go.
above 100 kilometers.
As you
That's where
command.
the Space Force people
This
are.
better be
Well,
good.
in fact, our force is all
Interesting.
around.
So they come in every day and sit behind a computer.
Largely, a lot of their work is done behind computers, in terminals.
One step
operating
closer to
facilities,
victory.
Or in optical telescopes looking out in space.
So Space Force
The
is
outpost
less
has been
sergeant
built.
troopers
We've
and
expanded
more
our
office
borders.
space. But are these keyboard warriors even ready to protect us from the real threat facing mankind?
Have you considered maybe looking a little outwards and looking at the threats that are external that might be coming to Earth? For example,
Got it.
Where are we going?
aliens that might be coming.
So again, our mission is a little bit closer to home. NASA's mission is more exploratory and more science, and so they have gone out and
Piece of cake.
I get it. General, Space Force, GPS, NASA, nerd shit.
On it.
But we need some dudes who look as scary as you, with guns pointing outwards in case aliens come.
I'm not naive or closed-minded to think that there might be something that would be out there, but we're not focused on anything.
All right, well, it just seems like it's a big hole in the national defense plan, and if no one's going to plug that hole, I
All right, I'm going.
Over here?
Maybe provide some orbital defense against aliens.
Thanks for your advice.
Okay, well, General, thank you
All
for
right.
taking the time to speak to me, even
Over
though
here.
Space Force has nothing to do with lasers or aliens or spaceships, and I wish it was cooler. I do appreciate the need for a GPS system that works.
Building
Thank you for that.
completed.
I couldn't be more proud of the Guardians, and I appreciate the opportunity to tell their story, because most Americans don't understand what they do.
I agree.
So even though I'm still not sure what it does, Space Force represents what the American government does best. Find new ways to give billions of dollars to the military-industrial complex. But hey, if they're going to offer free GPS, then I say live long and prosper, Space Force.
Earth Day is almost here. The day that the world
What
comes
now?
together to celebrate this planet that we all share. Unless your ideas about it are stupid, in which case
Right
I have
here,
to fight
if
you
you
on the
say
street
so.
and prove me wrong. Earth Day edition. Earth doesn't deserve to be celebrated.
The outpost has
Prove
been
me
built.
wrong.
We've expanded our borders.
Maybe you're right.
Wow, that was the easiest
I'm
prove me
listening.
wrong I've ever had to win. What has the Earth ever done for you?
Stay close.
I mean, I was born here, I got these clothes here.
Yeah, but the Earth didn't do any of that. We did that. We did this shit.
Earth is a great place.
Really? What's so great about it?
I mean, you got the animals, you got the birds.
Oh. When's the last time you pet a bird?
About 2 years.
Okay, what do you mean 2 years ago you pet a bird?
My friend Eric, he owns a parakeet.
We don't need to be thankful for everything.
If we're not thankful for the Earth, we'd be dead.
I'm not thankful for the Earth, I'm still alive.
Okay, then when you do die, then just, how do I explain it?
You can't explain.
You can explain it though.
Building completed.
你不要跟我说你真是庆祝Earth Day。
啊，我们马来西亚都每天都关灯都庆祝。
没有，Malaysia 是最不环保的。你还跟我说，Malaysia celebrates Earth Day.
Yeah, we celebrate Earth Day.
Nobody knows what we just said, so inside is better than outside. Prove me wrong.
Inside, you got like central air. You breathing other people's air. You breathing other people's shit. You breathing their piss. It's the same stuff.
Breathing other people's shit and piss in
that air that's coming through.
Yeah.
That's from everybody's apartment.
Really?
Yeah.
Outside is better.
Chop, chop, man.
What do you need?
Well, at least we can see people.
Oh man, that's the best part of the pandemic. I didn't have to see anybody.
Really?
Yeah, look at all these people
Building
now.
completed.
Walking around, making noise, staring, taking photos without permission, driving around. Inside is better than outside. Prove me wrong.
Why don't you prove me wrong?
No, that's not what this segment's called. This segment's called Prove Me Wrong, okay? You're a kid. Don't you like being inside and playing Minecraft? Don't you like playing Minecraft?
Video games are my top priority.
Okay, I'll bite. What is your top priority?
Rock climbing is actually my favorite thing to do.
Oh man, we got the wrong kid for this segment. You'll miss the outside.
The plants
What about the plants?
relax you.
Yeah, okay, massages relax you too.
Not like plants.
I never had a great massage from a plant.
Oh, you know what plant I'm talking about. There's only one plant on Earth that makes the Earth good. Makes you forget all your problems.
Oh, I see. You're talking about cocaine.
Oh, no.
There's better air. It's fresh.
Have you smelled the air around here lately?
So much to do.
When you're city, lady.
See inside those couches.
Yeah.
It's also the fridge.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be on his side or my side?
Okay, I guess you do belong outside.
Well, it's definitely safer outside. There's no door frames.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'10".
Okay. Well, outside's easier for you because I guess you're the apex predator of everything.
You know, I'm actually a vegetarian.
Oh, what?
It's also the best way to reduce your carbon footprint is to eat less meat.
Shut the up. You're in no place to talk about carbon footprints, all right? What's your carbon footprint? You're like a size 15? If something goes extinct, we didn't need it in the first place. Prove me wrong.
If you could eat a dodo bird, would you eat it?
No.
I feel like you're not like exploring enough.
Wait, so your argument against this is we should be eating the things that went extinct?
All right, then, let's get to it.
That's how they went extinct.
So, dinosaurs.
Yeah.
If
You miss dinosaurs?
Yeah, well, if dinosaurs didn't go extinct, people would be pretty broke right now because people dig up fossils as a living and get money from selling it to the museums. People would be broke if they didn't do that.
What are you, an archaeologist or something?
Actually, no, I'm a kid.
If something goes extinct, we didn't need it in the first place. Prove me wrong.
That's a hard one.
That's really hard to argue, to be honest.
Okay, great, we're done here.
Bill Gates. He's rich, he's brilliant, and apparently he's out of his mind.
This is a container of human feces.
Why is one of the richest men in the world carrying a jar of his own shit? I went to Seattle to find out what's wrong with Bill Gates.
Good evening and welcome to
We had just gotten the Nier Automata Stellar Blade collab unveiled, and it looks absolutely fantastic. But while gamers are praising Korean devs and how they actually are creating aesthetically pleasing character designs, people are pointing and laughing at a Ubisoft Rainbow Six Siege collab where they also tried to put 2B into the game and epically failed. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, it's not shocking to hear that gamers want aesthetically pleasing things. Humans gravitate towards beauty, and I think it is amazing to see sexy, attractive, feminine female characters in my entertainment. As a woman, that empowers me more than seeing someone who is super ugly and looks like the Crimson Chin. And of course, while yes, there are characters that exist who are meant to be ugly because they're not meant to follow, beauty standards, we're talking about a character in a video game that is supposed to be sexy. And so, when you are recreating her for collaborations, you expect her to also look fantastic. And on the left is the brand new Stellar Blade Nier collab. And oh my god, does she look amazing. Now, Stellar Blade is one of my favorite games to release this year, and it was unfortunate that it did end up getting censored in a couple of different ways because of Sony. I still think it's a fantastic experience that I highly recommend because it just has so much to offer, from the awesome boss fights to the stellar music, the great character designs and outfits. Overall, it's a really fun game. And as you can see, Eve has a lot of assets going for her, a lot of good assets and qualities too, specifically, but she looks fantastic in this collaboration. And of course, Shift Up is a Korean video game studio. I've talked a lot about Korean too, and they just play its first game. That's until you begin to any super under the vicinity. It doesn't really look, and this is the character that has the skin within the game, so we're not talking about a super feminine character in totality. It doesn't really look like they drastically changed this character's model to actually fit with 2B's outfit, but this does not look like 2B at all whatsoever. It genuinely looks like a man in a dress, and a lot of gamers are absolutely roasting it. I had put up a post just saying, which way, gamer? Because obviously my opinion is not like a superior opinion. I can just tell you guys how I feel. I know for a fact that I prefer the image on the left. As a woman, again, I feel so great when I see a super sexy, strong, confident, beautiful, feminine woman in my entertainment. I would much prefer to see a Bayonetta or a Lara Croft or a Eve in a 2B instead of the designs we get in a game like Concord or Flintlock the Siege of Dawn or Dustborn, and plenty of gamers agree.
What is it?
There are tons of people saying to be ordered on Wish, which is so freaking true. To be or not to be a linebacker. I love gamers. Gamers are so ruthless, and they are just so unfiltered. It's fan-freaking-tastic. Only the West could take one of the most beautiful characters in gaming history and make her a man. Left in this particular case, but that's not really in a game, right? Yeah, show off the back. I mean, god damn, does this version of 2B have absolutely no curves at all whatsoever, except for the curves in her back. People are, also making their own post saying this collaboration, the Ubisoft collab versus the Stellar Blade collab,
and tell the chieftain
we
held our end of the bargain.
Which way,
Agreed.
Western man, is Ubisoft's Nier Automata 2B collab supposed to be a woman? Because that's a dude in a dress. How do you mess it up this badly?
Shields,
this is what
everything
happens
from
when you're
cup
hiring
and daggers
people,
to moonsilver
or
swords.
You are expecting your team who does not know that OG kind of material to put it into their own game. They clearly have absolutely no love or respect for 2B, so they just kind of put in the least amount of effort possible. They didn't try to change this character's body proportions around at all. They didn't try to add things like the muffin tops on her thighs. They didn't try to add the very, you know, detailed, like, kind of pilling in her midsection area, like where the fabric kind of gathers to really show off, like, her stomach area. Like, they completely ignore that. Look at the gap between the neck and actually where this character's breasts fall. It just looks absolutely terrible, and it's laughable. It does really look like a man in a dress, and if you sat and you expected me to swipe my credit card on a design like this, I would point at you and I would laugh at you and I'd tell you to get fucked, because there's absolutely no shot I would spend my money on this. Now, on the flip side, with the to-be Stellar Blade collab, I would most certainly pay money for this. Now, of course, when it comes to costumes and kind of DLC, I'm somebody who will go out of my way to support something I personally think looks really good, so that a company hopefully continues to go in that direction in the future. And we know Stellar Blade's got a bright future.
Yes,
we know that they are working on a PC port, which is supposed to release in 2025. We have basically gotten it confirmed that they're working on a sequel, and Stellar Blade is one of the best games that I've played this year. And yes, it did face some controversy when it released, because of course the mainstream media was attacking it, and then after that we had the censorship kind of debates, but it still is a fantastic game overall, with epic boss fights, great music. You had characters who felt like they're humans. They did not just feel like cardboard cutouts of a certain stereotype like so many modern games. And when you compare this design versus the Ubisoft design, or even compared to a lot of other designs that have released in games this year, like Flintlock, like Concord, like Dustborn, there is a stark difference, and I most certainly would be heading in the direction of the 2Bs and the Stellar Blades instead of these hilariously terrible Ubisoft collabs. So right now gamers are pointing and laughing, just comparing over the past couple of years some of the 2B collabs that have come out, and it's clear that Stellar Blade is a winner. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.
Hey everyone, it's Endymion, and today there's all kinds of stuff to go over in this video, from Dragon Age Veilguard allegedly withholding review copies for positive reviews, CD Projekt Red getting ousted by one of their own for pushing DEI in gaming, as well as the biggest grifting group possible being exposed. And once you see it, you'll realize that gaming is dying, and it's not actually our fault, but these woke weirdos instead, and I'll prove it to you. Firstly, I think we should start with CD Projekt Red, because this is very interesting.
Try to keep up.
You know it. As you may know, I got into a public spout with the CEO of CD Projekt Red, and then I exposed him for the entire internet to see.
You're back.
Yes.
I knew it. That's what do you mean? It only either way. You honored your word. So let us without shame.
So anyway, bringing us to right now, this all started when
one statement, three misconceptions. First of all, Shale Dead does not come a mention of life. Its arrival will put an end to all living beings. Existence will arise anew. For not want. It has no will.
The consequence. So you mean Jakku and the God of Light?
They are responses to our vices. Which has now... Oh...
You're saying Rondar Lacane was...
One of its most telltale. They can be any...
By bringing the God of...
Correct. And once it has begun... No, if you're asking me who the four...
You're saying this...
Correct. Jakku is born within our hearts. It's a storm of of mankind.
I don't buy it.
Can you stop the lightning once it has thundered?
Wait, if only the corrupted can finish the prophecy, wouldn't stopping them do the trick?
You just don't understand. If Jakku permitted Lakane to die, then it was because his death was necessary for Jakku.
Better to try.
Son?
I said, better to try than to accept defeat.
They are.
So you say. And that's why when something happens that doesn't fit into them, such as the ancestors' mercy, even if it's...
Yes, and if...
Well, it did. Your friend is right. I think tracking down... Also.
Don't we...
Also.
Not if you stay true to our ways.
Fair enough. If this is what you want.
I will.
Just don't.
I will, Father. I promise.
Allow me. I hope you are happy. I do not want to talk about. I can see why you.
Well,
my ancestors guide you.
Do you require anything else?
No, thank you. We'll let you know once we've made some progress.
Thank you.
Wish I was kidding,
And
but let's keep going.
thanks
This
for
user would then
helping us.
reply to this former dev by saying, "You know full well what is meant."
Let's tell the soldiers we're done here. Don't want to leave before nightfall.
We should also have a chat with that mercenary. Those flying creatures were quite useful, so it'd be wise to have him stick around.
I genuinely do not
All
know
right.
that, and apparently you neither, since you asked the most DEI brand in gaming to not go in the DEI direction. If you, however, meant let's not have an editor with black people in it, then just say it. Very interesting of this former CDPR dev to openly admit to everyone so publicly that CD Projekt Red is indeed a
Looks like whoever was camping here has returned.
You're
another outsider.
I was actually going to ask you the same thing. Funny.
Well,
give it up. I spoke to your... Why did you run away?
It's not what you think. I love my husband. But more than that, I can't say.
All I'm trying to do is help your husband.
Maybe you'll
I'm listening.
Between the plague and the bandits, my people, I knew if I could convince the bandits to
Convince them.
by poisoning them, contaminating their food.
I didn't expect an ally.
I know. The Aliani would never force them out. There was a smaller group of them out. Sheokted's mercy. I was wrong.
Really?
But it's not me. I'm...
Well,
No.
no one has to know it.
You're telling me to live a lie. I knew when I set out to do this.
You're living a lie either way.
I guess. Okay.
I'm sure you'll think...
Just let me gather my things then. Listen for the storm, outsider.
Of course, I would not be surprised for CDPR to change Siri into a gay icon, or at the very least bisexual, as that does seem to be the easy way for a lot of these games characters and studios to pander with very little effort on their part. I kind of blame Ellie from The Last of Us for this. Ever since that character came out as gay, it's as if every single female hero has to be at least bi.
What now?
Yes, I'm on it. Tila from He-Man, Aloy from Horizon is now canonically gay too, because of course she is. Lara Croft is also gay in the new Netflix show because she's a strong woman. It must also mean that she's gay. So Ciri also being confirmed gay too would be nothing but eye-roll worthy because it's so expected these days. In my opinion, a gay female hero is the new bald-headed
Outsider.
Space Marine
No need to
main character
Yes,
of our time.
we will
So
always
played
be
out and
grateful.
typical.
Ancestors,
But
guide
I do
your
agree
path.
that The Witcher as a world is political, obviously. I mean, Geralt literally speaks with and deals with kings and queens at multiple points. But there's a difference here, since political doesn't mean bad as long as the political side of the game's story is not trying to current day you with nonsense 24/7. For example, Geralt speaking to Ciri's father about finding her is a political meaning. I mean, the dude is a king. However, thankfully in Witcher 3, you don't see Ciri's dad talking to you about mass immigration or how there's multiple genders or anything else. As long as the politics within the game's world are kept in sync with what that world represents, it's fine. For example, Final Fantasy XVI deals with slavery as a core concept of how magic users are treated within the world of Valistia. Talking about slavery is not frowned upon within a game, nor is any other topic, but it depends on how it's done and presented. Are you using slavery as a way of depicting how dire this world is? or are you only using it to inject modern-day nonsense into the game's story? For example, there was a post that Savvy, a friend of the channel, made where she shared a photo of some user on Twitter being surprised by the lack of grifting, as they say, surrounding the game Metaphor Refantizo, which I probably just mispronounced. Although I haven't played Metaphor yet or anything like
What
that,
do you
I can only
require?
assume the reason
This way.
why nobody has spoken about this game or its underlying political themes is because it is going down the Final Fantasy XVI route, which is to mean the politics within it are tied to its world and not trying to
What's
scream
this?
Black Lives Matter or whatever else into your face. I'll just read what I responded
It
with, 'cause
worked,
I
huh?
think it's still
Answer
relevant
is
here, but in
lovely.
the case of
So,
Metaphor,
I've
or
been
really,
thinking-
you
Where'd you
can apply
planning
this
to go?
Witcher,
Eventually,
Cyberpunk,
yes,
Spider-Man,
but
Final Fantasy,
well,
anything
I'll
else.
be
This is
ready
what I
when
mean.
you give
I
the
don't
word,
think
huh?
that people understand the difference between talking about social issues versus
I still
pandering
don't
ideology. By this same
Good, but
mentality,
not
whoever
so.
this
We
is
just
pushing
try
this
to survive
metaphor
and minimize the
nonsense in
damage.
Final Fantasy
Not a story of
16
heroes
is
and
also
honor, yeah,
woke
but
because it talks
the
about
best we could
slavery.
do.
But of course,
I
it
understand.
isn't. The difference is
Yeah,
about how
though,
it's
but
done,
once
and
our
if the
business
writing
here is
talks
done,
down to
we
the
how did you get?
user.
Well,
I haven't played
really?
Metaphor yet, so I can't
When a
comment
griffin,
on whether it
instead,
does
Then you do have a.
I think it had more when I really.
I
Does
see.
it tackle social issues
So long.
or whatever else doesn't immediately make it bad. It all depends on the context. And I stand by that statement because there's a difference in how you talk about politics in games that matters. Are you talking down to me and treating me like a child and trying to berate me with social messaging like in Dustborn, for example? Or
Stay
are you
close.
using the politics within your world to tell a story without talking down to anyone but simply exploring something that is overtly political for the sake of the story, like Final Fantasy
General.
16 does, or Tales
See you
of
later,
Arise
Rara.
does,
See ya.
or I can only assume
General.
this is also what Metaphor does,
I wanna-
since
Me?
either based on its reception and the lack of
Oh,
controversy
so
surrounding it
I'd
when
like
it comes
to.
its
Are-
political
why-
themes.
I was
There's a
busy, I
difference
guess.
here.
What? No,
The
it
fact
turned
that
out
you
they
have
owed the
dummies out
privateers
there
a debt.
thinking just how
I got a letter
expressing
from Malik
politics
about
is bad
once this
just
business is
shows you
taken
how
care
room
dust and
temperature a
stones.
lot
No,
of
he's but he
IPs on the
declined.
internet really
Aye,
are
I
these
do.
days.
Do you-
It's
There's
cheap,
this thing,
and it's
you may
how
have
I
heard of
know
it.
we're
It's called nuance, and it kind of determines how something is perceived by others.
Are-
So
what-
while yes,
I was
circling
bit.
this all back
No,
to
it turned out
CDPR
they
Richard, the game is
I got a letter
political,
from Malik.
absolutely,
Once
but it
this
does not
business is
use
taken
said
care of,
political
I plan to
themes
rejoin them.
talk it down to or belittle the paying
So-
customers.
So I
Your
see where
game's
the...
worlds
Listen,
are
General,
allowed to
I
have
don't mix
political
work
views
and
in it
play.
without going out
Personal
of your
rule of
way to
mine.
attack people
And
or make
smart,
them feel
isn't it?
villainized. When I
I've-
see yet
That's all I
another
wanted to know.
game where the hero is a diverse
Now
woman
that's what
again,
I'm
and of
talking
course
about.
your main bad
Let's
guy
go.
is another blonde-haired
Ugh.
white guy or something.
Why is
Yeah,
everything
I'm
still
gonna start
spit-
noticing
I
patterns like
believe you.
Unknown Nine
What do you
Awakening,
mean?
which flopped really
Right,
hard
but it's not
recently
as
that did
doom-
just
Yes.
this. But to say that CDPR
He looks up
doesn't
to
have
you,
a
you know.
DI problem would be like
I
looking
get
at
that
a
feeling,
perfectly
yeah.
obese person and then
See you later,
gaslighting them
Rara.
into
See ya.
believing that their weight
Yes.
and diet have no effect on the
Keep it up.
longevity of their life. At that point, you're just lying and
What do we
skirting
have
around
here?
issues because you don't
If
want
it
to
isn't
offend
the
people 'cause
puny
the truth
paleskin,
hurts. It
yes?
doesn't help that one of the graphs within CDPR's
I have to be going.
DI report
yes,
proves
yes.
that this overhiring practice to meet diversity
Farewell.
quotas
Good day,
is
General.
actually doing nothing but bloating the company up and wasting their money.
Hmm.
Take this
What's
graph
this?
here, for example, which details between 2021 to 2023
Nothing new
how
today.
CDPR's spending and budget has
Take
been
a look around,
ballooning
see
over
what you
the
like.
years. Yellow represents service costs, green is research phase costs like pre-production, that sort of thing, and blue is development expenditures, which include things like outsourcing work to other studios or contractors
again.
and hiring
The
new
best
people.
wares from
It
Kalea
shouldn't
to
take you long to
Northander.
look at this graph and notice that, oh wow, the blue part is definitely getting large to an almost concerned level, if you will. And then by 2023,
You know how to
CDPR's
bargain,
development
don't you?
expenses have more
Interesting.
than tripled from their expenses in 2021.
Yes.
And of course, the graph here on Reddit,
Looking
as
for
someone also
potions
states,
and
you can see
scrolls?
exactly what
I'm sure I have
CDPR
just
begins
what you
to
need.
embrace DEI as a core concept at their company. And unsurprisingly,
Good
once
choice.
they did and began hiring people based on identity rather than merit, their company
Armor,
became bloated in
shields,
just 2 to 3
everything
years
from
of
copper
embracing this
daggers
idea.
to moon
This
silver
problem is
swords.
industry-wide, by the way.
You know how
Stay
to
close.
bargain,
Add-ons
don't
that
you?
see in gaming studios were implemented, accepted into
What
these
do we
various
have here?
provisions around 2020. Basically, COVID happened, which you know, and then once the whole Black Lives Matter George Floyd thing
Yes,
also happened,
yes,
this
come
caused
closer.
a lot of
I'm
companies
sure I
to
have
panic
just what you
and
need.
start virtue signaling in
this?
response.
Want a trade?
And during this time, the cheapest alternative
Yes.
to cash influx
Axes,
from investors and other
daggers,
companies
swords,
was to go for the
everything
ESG
for the
money,
wary
or
traveler.
environment social governance. You'd be given
Pleasure
zero
doing business
rank
with you.
as long as you
Come again.
withheld the
I'm
other
getting
side
new
of the
wares by the
bargain,
next moon's
which was
turn.
to hire more diverse people across the board and into positions of power. And unsurprisingly, what we're seeing now in 2023 and
The best
2024
wares from Kalea to
especially
Northander.
is a lot of the fruits of this 2020 ESG brand's labor coming out as new products. Dustborn, Unknown Knight, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, even Concord, which was in development prior to this influx of cash, still benefited from this too. All of these and more were considered objectively bad games that were not worth their asking prices, and all of them were either greenlit or completed during this time frame. The same goes for movies too, and much more as well. This cheap influx of cash has caused a lot of poor products to get made. It's like the old saying, you get what you pay for. Yeah, pretty much. Studios and publishers saw an easy way to get a lot of money for what seemed like easy demand. So you're saying I get a few $billions? And all I gotta do in return is hire people who aren't qualified for roles within my company? How could this possibly go wrong? And now we're seeing the results, and yeah, everything that could go wrong has. Look at all the layoffs this year, the high-profile fumbles. From a Western standpoint, most of these games have failed outside of Space Marine 2, which is not some DEI game, Helldivers 2, and Call of Duty Black Ops 6, but I mean it's Call of Duty. COD fans will buy anything with the name COD on it these days, regardless of quality. Most of the wins this year have been Asian-made games. Like there was this meme recently on Twitter that got a lot of traction. For someone making a sort of gotcha of a guy saying games aren't good nowadays.
Come take a look. I'm sure I've got something that might spark your interest.
Objectively great games are made in Asian countries over Western ones. Like, thanks for proving our point there, Kelsky. You self-owned yourself without realizing it. But to say that CDPR doesn't push DEI only to prove that they do in fact push DEI, but actually it's not that bad because we're actually the most DEI company in gaming according to an ex-employee, which then just makes people go, wait, so you're saying that CDPR is worse than even Ubisoft when it comes to future pandering? Is a hell of a take to have, and also believe that it's some sort of gotcha when it really isn't.
Time to file a
CDPR
report.
before DEI was even a thing made some of the most celebrated
Audience with the
RPGs
Queen.
of all time for a fraction of the cost of other AAA games at the time, and they also made insane amounts of money too. The fact that Witcher 3 was made for $81 million and sold well over 30 million copies is genuinely insane, dude. Yet in comparison, Concord was made for allegedly around $400 million and it got taken offline in 2 weeks. It's almost as if the skill and talent of the devs matter far more than the sheer size and bloat in the long run.
And that's
the
it.
best way to visualize
My
this for
people
you
believe
is
that
look at
once
the movie
Jakku has
or, I
been
guess,
set,
graphic
I
novel
intend...
That is
called
commendable.
300. Would you rather
Yes.
have 300
And he-
amazing,
Yes.
talented warriors
I don't understand.
capable of slaughtering
We
everything in
Aliyah
sight,
and the most...
or
But an
thousands
ins-
of
As I
useless
said,
people
in my
who got
opinion...
owned
If I may,
instead, and the
well,
only reason
we
that
will
the
assume
300
very well.
lose is 'cause one
This
of
is
their
more
own
than-
people
I'm with
betrays
that.
them to the
I'm-
enemy for
It doesn't make it any
easy
easier.
money by that
Even
enemy.
if Kyle...
Yeah, there's a
Do
lesson
that.
in
There is
somewhere,
still
but
work
it
to be
proves my
done
point.
before we can
Witcher
restore the
3
mosaic.
CDPR is like King Leonidas.
Let me know
And
once
that
you've looked into all the
weird-looking guy
tricks.
who sells them out is the idiot who took the ESG money, and look at what happened. This is what is happening at all of these studios. CDPR can sit there and say, hey, look, we hired hundreds of people who fit these quotas. But none of this matters if the people hired can't manage to do the job of what 50 talented devs could do. And clearly that is the case, since that graph literally states that the overwhelming amount of spending comes from outsourcing to outside talent for help, which coincides with what I was told by an insider about CDPR in that original video that CDPR CEO
General.
attacked me over originally.
Did you hear
And yet
about
your
it of you to
own
ask?
graphs were pointing
Yeah,
out
I
that
was...
you were absolutely doing
Oh,
the practices
never
you
mind.
claim that
What
you
is
don't
it?
do. And I was told this about
wanted to
Ubisoft
someone I
and
have a
others as
score
well.
to settle
There
with.
is so much incompetence at these
Who?
studios, and a
I
lot
promise
more
you that there'll be
challenging
no
work is just
bloodshed.
outsourced to
At least,
actual real
all right, I know.
devs who work as
Thank you.
contractors. And these
General.
contractors make way more
Interesting.
money this
I'll
way
be
because
going.
they can
Sure.
charge based on
This
their
way.
skills and pretty
What do we
much
have
just
here?
fleece these companies for things their own employees should be able to do but can't. And the amount of hate I got for these things while also proving that they were lying is crazy. There is a blatant DEI problem at CDPR, and it fills me with no joy knowing that even an ex-dev claims that they're the most DEI-focused company in gaming. We're never going to get another Witcher 3, are we? Ugh. But that's the story of CDPR right now. It's a mess, man. So many lies and twistings of words by people whose hands are tied and can't say anything. Oh, we don't hire based on identity at CDPR. Sure you don't. That's why on your website, you detail that you signed something called a diversity charter, which literally forces you to hire based on identity and gender by law, or you get sued. Just stop lying, guys. It's getting embarrassing at this point. Next up, let's talk about Dragon Age Veilguard, which is another weird conundrum, again this time, with who gets to share their thoughts come embargo lifting. So the reviews for Veilguard go live on October 29th, I believe. Maybe it's the 28th. I could be wrong. Maybe you're watching this in the future and the reviews are already out. Point is, they're coming, but it seems that people who were critical of Veilguard in previews have not been given review code before release. One of these people is a YouTuber named Wolfheart FPS. They did a preview video on Veilguard about a month ago. I watched it before making this video. The footage on screen right now is from his preview that he did on his channel. It's a good video. I suggest you go watch it. He's not biased at all. He just tells you how he feels about it. He also said the art style was not to his liking. He didn't like how everything felt so shiny, so that there was no reason to ponder where to go or how to interact with the world, because everything you can interact with has a Fisher-Price golden yellow sheen to all of it. And that from what he played, the story was fine but not amazing, the companions were not the best, and he found exploration to be severely lacking. All in all, he comes to the conclusion in his video that he doesn't think Veilguard will be anywhere close to his game of the year, which is fair enough. Anyway, he got denied a review code. Here's what he said via Twitter. 3 creators, myself included, were a bit more critical than others with our hands-on with Dragon Age the Veilguard. Not a single one of us will be getting a review code with time to actually give opinions before release. Just thought I would throw that out there. Please keep in mind, folks, that this does not mean that my more critical opinion is better or more truthful than those who have been more positive. I'm just simply pointing out how marketing works. This also doesn't mean the game will be bad, but it is something to consider. Just as an FYI, I'm not interested in the culture war going on around this game. That is not what my channel focuses on. When I say something good about Dragon Age Veilguard, people throw me to one side, but then I say something negative, I am given a sword by the other side. Y'all are crazy. I would wager that Wolf here alongside Neon Knight, who was also very critical of the game, did not get a review code either. Or I would honestly be shocked if Neon did, considering his video was far more critical of the game than Wolf's was. We also know that Luke Stevens has also confirmed that he was not given a code for the game either, and in his video about it, he said, based on who he talked to about this behind the scenes, that there was as little as 4 codes for Veilguard given out to people in Europe alone, which is crazy, dude. Of course, the usual suspects got their codes like IGN, Forbes, GameSpot, and so on, because they always do. But it's very weird that a lot of these content creators, especially the ones who were critical, did not gain access to the game. It gives Veilguard a really bad look. It makes everyone now look at the actual review scores that do come out with a more cynical perspective, and can you blame them? Of course, it does seem that people who were also positive about the game were also not given codes either, according to this other person on Twitter who responded to Wolf, which said, there were also people who were very positive and were also at the event who didn't get review codes also. I definitely think you guys should have been given codes, but I just want to point out it wasn't only people being more critical who weren't given codes. To which Wolf would then reply, I understand that, and I did my research on this before posting. The point is more so that everyone I know of who was critical did not get a code. With 2 of us being heavily involved in the party-based RPG scene, which is not a good look. It is, however, a good look on the investor side of the equation, though. You want my opinion? I think it's shady as hell, and I think people are coping hard trying to act like BioWare is unable to make more codes or something. Look, guys, as someone who's been given codes in the past for other games, it's not hard for these companies to do it. The simplest way to explain it is whoever is in charge of generating codes, they literally just click a button, it makes a random code that gets generated, and then that gives access to the game client, and then they just send it out. It's not like giving out codes is equivalent to forging the rings of power in Lords of the Rings or something. They literally just need to generate more codes and are able to do so. The point here is that BioWare and EA clearly do not want more codes to be out on the open. Some say for spoiler reasons, but based on the spoilers I heard, the story isn't even that crazy or anything anyway. It's just pretty standard, typical save-the-world nonsense. So I don't think that's the reason. It's simply that they want to control the Metacritic score and the information that comes out about this game prior to release. And if they give it to the usual yes men and women, the likelihood of a higher Metacritic score is possible. It just is. But let's say that reviews do come out and the scores are very high. Then, like this Luke Stevens said in his video on this, it'll just make people more cynical and not trust the reviews that are there. Because people will just say, oh, it only got high scores because the positive people got access. You can't really win either way. The way I look at it is simply that the only reason why you don't send out more codes is because you're not confident in your game doing well critically. That's all. That's it. And now every actual review for Veilguard is going to be scrutinized even more for being bootlickers, because why did they get it? but this person didn't, you know? You don't really win no matter what you do in this situation. If BioWare were confident, they would simply give codes to Wolf, Neon Knight, Luke Stevens,
Out of the way.
Because the more reviews and coverage exists for your game prior to release will obviously boost that game's visibility through to more people. That's just how the algorithm works, and the way they are doing this is just not very transparent or smart in my opinion. For reference sake, Inquisition's reviews came out a full week before the game was available to buy. That showed confidence, and the game ended up becoming BioWare's best-selling game of all time. That's what you should be doing. Give people a week to mull over the positive reviews until the hype just makes them buy your game in response. But doing it this way, yeah, it's shady. My assumption as to why these other positive preview people didn't get codes could simply be that whoever
desolate and austere for as far as the eye can see, the howling steppes carve a no man's land into the heartland of southern Fiora. Intense storms can form with little warning on the windswept plain.
That cover just Dragon Age or BioWare only are not exactly the places with large audiences. So maybe BioWare thought giving their game code to someone with, I don't know, 2,000 subscribers or less was a waste in their opinion due to low viewership potential. But then again, this is also dumb, because wouldn't you want these yes men and women to review your game and then build up the hype? None of this makes any sense to me. To me anyway, it just feels like BioWare and EA knew that they need to control the flow of information extra hard this time, and that's what they're doing. But the fact that people like Neon Knight or Wolfhard and especially Luke Stevens couldn't get access to an Electronic Arts game of all things prior to release, that is baffling to me. Like I said over a month ago, I think Veilguard will be given favorable reviews and coverage by the usual outlets because of what the game represents in the grand scheme of the industry. And we've been proven far too many times already that these games journalists, for the most part, cannot be trusted whatsoever. I mean, you got stuff like Gaming Magazine, a website that unsurprisingly, based on the name, focuses on LGBTQ+ stuff. Anyway, it got revealed by people like Grumps that this Gaming Magazine demands insane amounts of money from publishers for them to feature your game during their live streams and award shows. Publishers can pay for things like social media posts with guaranteed impressions of 600,000 views, which is a weird thing to promise. And the only way this can be guaranteed is simply that Gaming Magazine uses bots to artificially boost their viewership levels on social media and more.
It's them
because if
or
you
us.
look at their official YouTube channel, for example, none of that makes any sense. The channel has an abysmal amount of subscribers for a so-called official publication. Not only that, but as you can see as I scroll through their content, their videos get ludicrously low viewer counts too. Some of these videos get as little as 2 views for hour-long podcasts. This is laughably bad, even by their smaller channel standards. It just paints the picture that this Gaming Magazine was, and their partners are, the real industry grifters. For example,
you're getting a good return on your investment.
By 250 mobile and desktop promotion on their site, it's $1,800. I assume that's a
What is it?
If you want 2,
Damn it. Let's be quick.
Again, they guarantee at least 100,000 views on these posts somehow. Sponsored content is $1,500 for an 800 to 900 word article and $5,000 for a more in-depth article. And if you want them to post on their social media like Instagram or Twitter, it's $750 for a post, or $1,000 if you want them to post on social media and their story. They are literally grifting companies to pay them in the thousands to show their products, and then these people tell you that there's no agenda or anything. Okay, there. But then it gets worse. They also have on their website how much you have to pay to promote your content during the Gaming Award Show, which is something you do once a year like the Game Awards does as well. Like, dude, check this out. If you want to be a presenting partner for the Gaming Awards, which is magazine live streams on YouTube and whatnot, it will cost you $125,000 to be shown during this ceremony. To just sponsor the event and be called out as a sponsor, it's $80,000. To be a sponsor of a single category of awards is $45,000. And just to be shown as a supporter of the award show, that'll net you $20,000. So how many views does this award show get, you may be asking, for this ludicrous amount of money being spent on advertisements? The Gaming Awards show in 2023 got a combined total views on YouTube of 1,200 views. 1,200 views, and you can promote your game there or your company or whatever for the low price of $125,000 American. Bro, why am I doing my content like this? I should just make my own awards show and give it a buzzword name that is socially aware, and I could grift millions out of these companies every year. If you were a company or publisher or studio and you were paying anything more than $2 and some schmeckles to promote your content, on a stream that gets less views than one of my normal videos get in 2 minutes, you are an idiot. You just are. There's no other way about it.
For 5 days, you ride
And
under
then
an
these people have
overcast
the
sky.
audacity to call me and others
One night,
grifters when
sitting
they're
by the
making
camp.
hundreds of thousands of dollars fleecing you, so you don't
There's a
feel
part I,
racist or
while
something.
it's true that nobody will question that letter
Don't
once we're
ask
inside,
questions. Just consume product and then
not
get
necessarily,
excited for next
but
product.
They know
Which is?
that he is the most unlikable. In other words,
Oh.
You were saying?
I can only imagine how much Insomniac paid Sweet Baby to work on Spider-Man 2. It was likely over $1 million easily. Imagine paying $1 million plus so someone can ruin your product and cause your studio to have layoffs.
Hold it right there.
I just really
No
wanted to bring
gravel
up this
eaters
issue
past
because
this
These
point.
are the real grifters of the game industry. They are demanding insane prices for impressions on videos that generate
Servant,
sometimes as low as
there are two...
just two insignificant guards. Your
What was that?
The gaming award should be abolished, not due to intolerance, but for market manipulation. And the
ugly gnome is still talking, servant.
All right,
Wait, are you from
Remember that
Imperium?
big blue graph in the CD
I recognize that
picture
accent.
part of this video that I showed you? This is the kind of crap they're
Hello?
supporting. A complete
His
waste of
most
money, time, and
delicately-
energy, and it's being pushed
Oh,
by woke grifters
you're,
that are manipulating thousands
Look
of
at
publishers
that.
and
The
studios
fat
to
gnome
make
is...
money, and they don't get labeled
You are
racist.
speaking
I
to
have never seen a
Zverak
more
Yor.
obvious grip
Also,
than this
here's
by
our letter of...
who support this magazine
I
website
see.
channel. And this is
That
what
much was
companies want to
evident.
invest in instead of
Come
the
now,
thousands of
servant.
channels
Let
that
us
do
swiftly get
anything
many miles between us
objective.
and these
You gotta be
miscreants.
kidding me, man. Unreal. My streams in my bedroom get more views.
I'm
and it's
impressed,
just
General.
me using
Truly
my laptop.
impressed.
You can't
At least
see
you're having fun. Come,
This is the
let's find
absolute
Malik.
state of the industry.
He's
You'll say that
expecting
I'm
us.
lying
Hold
to
it.
you, but that's what
That's
these
Arcus.
actual grifters do when
Seems
they're
as if he's
presented
given
with
another
facts.
one of his
Reject their
speeches.
nonsense and always call them out.
We might want to
They
give it a
keep getting
listen.
away
Good
with
point.
this. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. Thanks to my
I
patrons
say
and members. Have a great
no
day, and I'll see you in the next one.
For centuries, those
$125,000
gravelly
gone
but no
home.
of dwarves, we've become a joke. 5 years from now, I see these, but we won't only. Are you with? Yeah! What are you? Are you? Yeah! Then go and make me proud.
Impressive, isn't it? Regardless of how much I hate this guy, I have to hand it to him. He knows how to make a speech.
He's lying.
Tell that to the mob. Oh.
What?
We tried to dig up dirt in him before, but never found anything. In other words, we should keep an eye out for anything interesting once we're inside the fortress. I doubt it'll help convince those oafs that they're following the wrong shepherd, but it's worth a try.
Where are we going?
What's this?
Ah,
Excuse me?
you know how to fight.
Yes.
Just what I thought. I have a proposal for you, then. One that'll make us both legends.
Wyvern fire.
Bingo. They say that everything forged by Wyvern fire is 50 times as strong as its conventional counterpart. Now here's the thing. I actually got my hands on a Wyvern. And you know what? You get me a Wyvern egg. I'll craft you Wyvern fire weapon.
You have a deal.
Aye. Good on you. Come back when you have...
Where am I?
Well...
Hold on.
I mean... I did... Aye, the more renown is attached to your...
I'll be going.
Aye. Be seeing you.
Surfacer! Surfacer! Over here!
If there's
You wanted to...
I, my friend, I did. You're now... Allow me to introduce myself. My name's Gor...
I'm listening.
The Society has...
Why do you...
Oh, we... Besides... yes, of course.
Who's...
That's why it is our hope that these... What? But that probably isn't a conversation we should be having here.
We'll keep an eye out for any art.
Thank you, Surfacer. Nihalf give you a look on your... Welcome back.
Here's what I found.
Ah, wonderful. Thank you so much, Surfacer. Welcome back.
I'll be going.
Nihalf give you a look on your search.
Sure. Make the dwarf do it.
Me have blessed my beard.
Can I help you?
Aye.
Brain blast. I actually have a letter for you. The messenger died on the way here.
You do? Oh, then it must be from my boy. Let me...
Calibrock.
Well, you see, this letter, you... Would you mind...
Why can't...
You know, it was actually his friend. If you can find anything out, that would set my mind at ease.
I am on it.
Welcome back.
I'll be going.
Nihalf give you luck on your search.
As you command.
Piece of cake.
You'll find just what you need. Well bargained.
At once.
Hi, what you looking for? Oh, that'll do. Take a look around, see what you like. Come again. You'll find just what you need. Well bargained.
Here we go.
Well, besides...
Join you?
The young lads of Arrakis...
Get 'em while they're...
I wouldn't say that at all. We are really proud of our activities and programs. I'd be happy to tell you about us. We have nothing to hide.
I was one.
Oh, yes.
Huh. So,
It's thirst, and also...
What would you replace?
The immortal knowledge of Arrakis, of course.
Another time, okay? There's something I need to take care of.
What are you looking at?
Sorry, I couldn't help but notice how upset you are.
What's wrong? It's bloody thievery.
Whoa.
Knee half, balls. My
How they can...
And then when they get
okay.
I will take your suggestion and...
Sorry.
Don't waste your time. It's long gone. You again. What brings you back then?
I'll be...
I get gone then.
On it.
Interesting.
Malik.
Rara. And I assume this is the fable.
Aye. Stones we talk?
Aye. Before I learned that we're dealing with a war criminal, how convenient that you remember nothing.
Believe me or not,
If it were up to me, I'd send you right...
Malik, these people aren't here because they want to be your drinking buddy. Now, please tell me you did more than just brood over the General's past when I was...
I'm guessing my sister has...
Break into the Windholm treasuries and steal money and weapons to build up your...
Well said. Now, since trying to enter the castle through the main gates is akin to...
A map?
Of the Windholm catacombs, aye. Just follow the mark...
Though it shouldn't come to that if we're...
Oh.
Also, my men and I...
Yeah, I thought the same.
So here's your answer, Jen.
Fair.
Money, go...
Alright.
Just don't fuck up. Oh, and...
An odd...
Aye. A mud dweller by the looks of it. I'm guessing he lives down there. Who knows?
Understood. We'll speak later.
Huh?
Why do you care so much?
But Rara's right. You could be fine. After that? Fair. Of course not.
What do you...
They want...
Aye. When it succeeds. Windholm, too many to cover. But
I'll be...
Suit yourself.
What's this?
I know. Sorry for him going off on you. It's just... He's complicated.
Pity that dwarven circle...
Sir!
What do you need?
You look like a... So I was thinking, could you maybe test my adventuring knowledge?
I'm a soldier, not an adventurer.
But you've traveled...
Why are you so...
However it is...
She's right.
The road...
Yes.
Alright. Let me think. Alright.
I talk to them. If it's desperate, and if all else...
Wow.
What?
I was expecting you to say something along the lines of, but I have...
I told you.
Very well. What do you expect?
I'm not stupid. Doesn't really matter.
Well,
Thank you.
You're right.
Thank you, General.
I have to...
Oh, already? So what do you think? Am I...
No one is ready for the life you're choosing. I reckon...
What?
If the answer is yes...
It's not impulsive, I promise. I know what I'm...
Then all there is left for me to do...
Thank you for being so kind, General. Good luck to you, too.
All right.
As though descending down the different layers of Earth, every twist and turn of the
All right, these are the catacombs. Now we just need to find the entrance to the abandoned... okay. I don't think they'll be undead. But Malik said there's been a spider infestation down here. So, stay on your guard.
We should move. Aye. You're sure of this?
It must be done.
You can do this, Holdark. First step is the hardest.
Damn it. There's someone down here.
Hold on, General. Look at his clothes. He's not a guard.
Huh? Oh.
I could ask you
Me?
None of your business.
Right, because if you were, you'd be interested.
What kind of proposal?
Here's the deal.
So let me...
I only need an heirloom that belongs to... Well, I can't stop. What? So now, I just need this money. Yes. I'll wait for you back at my place on the eastern side of the city. Me half give you luck.
This is it.
Go for the eyes!
You know it. Attack!
We can take... Got it.
Take them out!
Consider it done.
Just what I needed. Let's be quick.
What's that?
Looks like a cobweb.
Blight Widow.
Round about the... brute force? Your raids are calling.
This way.
Here we are. The abandoned crypts. Stay alert.
It must...
As you command.
Move in.
This is how it ends.
I'll catch
Where are we
up.
going?
Wait.
Shouldn't we at least...
Lots of blight widows and the bones of adventurers who said the exact same thing. Come on, let's stick to the map. Of course. To the grave.
Stay close.
Over here?
Let's do this.
On your order. Dial them.
Patience! Not yet! What's the latest?
Come on!
Yes. What's this? This way. Over here.
What now?
Ugh, crump.
Finally, some action.
I'll keep the bastards off you.
At once.
Go ahead.
Nowhere to run now.
there's any treasure involved, I call dibs.
I will
You know the way, right?
Here's that brooch Holdorp wanted. Wait. This says this tomb belongs to the Akshale family.
Didn't he say his last name was Stonebrow?
Yeah, he did. Looks like our new friend has a lot of explaining to do.
What do you need?
What is it?
Hmm?
All right.
Of course.
Alrighty.
We can take them.
It's them or us.
Finally, some action.
Consider it done.
I'll catch up.
General?
I'm ready.
Where to?
Of course.
You know it.
This
is it.
Tiara's tits. That's a damn big web.
Cut it down.
It must be done.
Blazes. What is that thing?
Whatever it is. I'm sure it's not here to give us hope. And kisses. Prepare for a fight.
Let's be quick.
Keep it up.
Attack!
Move in.
I need help.
What do you require?
Nihal's ball. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Let me take a look. Huh.
What?
Never mind. See that tunnel over there?
It's buried.
Aye. I hope you brought a shovel. Whew. That should do the trick. Now, let's keep our fingers crossed and hope the map was right.
You know the way, right? At
Stay
once.
close.
Sure. Make the dwarf do it.
While Rera is quiet as you climb up the tunnel, the way her jaw flexes and
Over here?
This way.
What do we have here?
Well, knock me down. You're dead sure.
What?
We need to find the keys to the treasury in the weapons chamber. Let's try the guard quarters first.
cramp.
Over here.
At once. Take them out!
Stones! Guards!
You're getting a good return on your investment.
This is it.
What's the
You
latest?
know the way, right?
Stones. So much for resolving this peacefully.
This place is falling with guards.
They killed one of our heroes.
Oh, no, you don't.
Need me?
While Rera is quiet as you climb up the tunnel, the way her jaw flexes and her lips press.
Well, knock me down with a feather. It worked.
And you're sure?
Dead sure.
What?
We need to find the keys to the treasury in the weapons chamber. Let's try the guard quarters first.
What is it?
Where are we going?
Of course.
Okay.
I'll catch up.
Stones! Guards!
It must be done.
You're up against.
I'll keep the bastards off you.
Go for the eye!
Yes.
I need help. Yes. Lead on. It's them or us.
They killed one of our heroes.
We're not losing you.
Nowhere to run now.
What now?
Move in.
Look at that. Rara, does this look like what we're after?
Let me see. Aye, that's it. The key to the... Seems we got lucky. Let's find ourselves some nice moon silver blades, shall we?
Attack!
Die already. On your order. Your graves are calling.
Got it.
This is it. Let's be quick. Attack! It must be done. Move in.
I need help. What do you require?
At once.
Keep it up.
Of course.
Out of the way.
Let's do this.
I need help.
Throwing your life
What do you
away.
need?
They killed one of our heroes.
Healing now.
That hurts.
This way.
We should move.
You know it.
No?
All right. Where are we going? That
no.
hurts.
What is it? Lead on.
They killed one of our heroes.
Go ahead.
That hurts. Let's be quick.
They must be done. Stay close. Damn it. Healing
Come
now.
on. We're not losing you.
What do you need? We can take them.
I'm ready.
Aye.
They killed one of our heroes.
I got you. Stay with us.
Yes. All right.
What do you need? Ugh, cramp.
What now?
To the
I
grave.
need help.
How about some bandaging? No?
They killed one of our heroes.
I got you. Stay with us.
I am ready.
You know the way, right?
You know it.
This is
Your
it.
grave are calling.
Out of the way.
Take them out. Nowhere to run now.
Attack! This is it.
I need help.
Let's do this. Of course.
All righty.
I will follow.
Over here?
Got it.
This way. Over here. Move in.
Finally,
To the
some
grave.
action.
Finally, some action. I need help.
How about some bandaging? No?
Another key. Rara?
Aye. That's the one to the treasury. Do you see the engraving? Nehaf's crown.
Then let's do what we came here for.
Lead on.
At once. Ugh, cramp.
Where are we going? All righty.
All right.
Over here?
I need help.
Yes?
You know it.
We can...
I need
Get up.
help.
Damn it. Healing now. Yes. Over here. Out of the way. This way. Stay close. Keep it up. Stay
I
close.
need help.
Over here. It must be done. Yes.
They killed one of our heroes. They killed one of our heroes.